Hey, you. Get on the stick.
Yo, bring it.
Choose your fighter.
Yeah. How's it going, lads?
Fight.
Bang, bang, bang.
Flawless victory.
Side Quest Arcade.
Dun 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 dun. Welcome to Side Quest Arcade. I am your host, Flint, aka Micromanatee. With me as always are my IRL friends. I'd like to introduce my friends, Flint, aka Micromanatee.
And hey there, lads. How's it going?
Flint,
you got me all fucked up. This is bullshit.
Flint, aka Micromanatee.
Oh, hey there, lads. How's it going?
And of course, y'all know who it is. Big Shaq in the locker room. Rodney for three. Flint, Micromanatee.
How's it going, lads?
So Flint, where's your solo podcast career going off? I thought we just started that.
That was a one-time TED Talk. We're not doing that this week. This week we're back to four. We're
back to four. Yeah, I just thought it would be a good way to throw a curveball for the intro. Of course, I am your host, Mad Matt. Welcome to the Side Quest Arcade. Get your quarters out. Put them on the fucking sticks. Let's go. I got a good show today, boys. This is actually a topic I've been wanting to discuss for a while. And these
you
boys
didn't even introduce me or Bryce or.
I'm getting to it. I'm just saying. I'm excited.
You're already into the topic,
excited.
And you're just I'm so excited.
Don't cut me off, sir. Do not cut me off.
We're going to Japan together. None of the rest of you fucks matter.
Hey,
I got introduced 3 times. How do you guys fucking feel?
Yeah, 4 times.
Get dunked on. Hell yeah.
All right. So of course, yeah, Brian, aka Happiness. How you doing?
Hey everybody, how's it going?
And of course, y'all know who it is. The star.
I'm not here.
Number
I'm
one.
not here. I'm not here.
Not
this
here.
Isn't me.
Oh.
I'm
Okay.
not here.
It's a double team. It's a double team.
Let's
Double
see
team.
how
Down
let's
in
see how
Texas.
We'll see how Nate does with his intro. So he's
Yeah,
gonna
Nate-
come up with a clever saying.
Nothing like putting me on the spot, like right there. I don't even have time to formulate a plan.
Well, Matt's about to introduce you.
Oh, okay.
And in the blue corner, weighing in at 250 pounds, flexing hard with the belt, the champ, 26-3, 18 wins by KO. Gloves are ready. Knees weak, arms are sweaty, vomit on his shorts already. Ready to fight, ready to go. It's your boy, Nate! I don't know his gamer tag.
So, yeah, Bryce apparently is here. I don't really have a gamer tag. What do you think?
Got it.
But anyways, Bryce is playing possum over here, so don't let him fool you. I am only in town for the weekend, so this is not a permanent thing, so be happy about that as well.
Wait a minute. Okay. He gave you the most epic little intro, and your first comment was, "Hey guys." That's what you want your podcast career to be known by?
Yes. I'll be the hey guys. Okay. I'll get shirts made.
right.
That's all it'll say. The
Hey
merch will
guys,
fly off the
I'm
shelves,
good with
you know.
that. We could have put shirts together. Hey guys. Hey, that intro was pretty good, wasn't it? I'm getting pretty good at that.
epic.
I'm not doing the
I'm
best
feeling
I
a little
can.
left out at this point, Matt.
Why is that? Happiness.
I mean, Bryce has got his Rodney for 3, Flint gets 3 intros, and Brian gets fine. I'll fucking introduce you.
Wait, who are you again?
Fuck
Get back to the edit cave, slave.
That's what Flint is now, isn't it?
Fair enough. Flint got promoted.
It's like a typical work promotion. Here, I'm just gonna delegate all the work to you. You can do more, but like you feel better because like you're doing more.
You're doing more, yeah.
Yeah. I'm doing less, but good promotion.
Yeah. Just wanted to say to the whammies, sorry about my throat. My province is on fire, and there's a lot of
Again?
smoke in the air. Oh, every year. So,
Every year.
I'm not sick, but breathe that shit in, dude. Like,
BC is gonna have like this uptake in lung cancer in the next 10 years.
it's fine. I got good healthcare package, so
Crackle
I'll
and,
be-
crackle and pour it out for the province of British Columbia.
Thank you, sir.
Burning down. 2018 just fucking past 2017, most fires. Feels
That's right.
bad.
When you look at a map of how many fires there are, it's kind of crazy. But I've heard it's like 1/10 of the acreage.
Yep.
But now, of course, when you have 600 fires,
Yep.
even if it is 1/10 of the acreage, eventually 600 fires can grow to fucking nasty.
Look, I don't want to talk about it because I have to deal with it every day. So I come here to not talk about this bullshit. How we doing? How we doing this week? I'll tell you what. I'll tell you guys. I'll start this week. Monster Hunter is the best game ever fucking made. That's it. I got nothing else to say.
I've been eyeing it up.
It's the other day. I got one story. I'll go over it quickly. I was fighting this big thing. It's called the Rathian. It's a big green dragon thing, and I got my lance and my shield, and I was jabbing at it, doing my thing, and it swung at me, and I was fighting it on this really, like, you have to climb all the way up to its fucking nest, right? And that area is just one big map. There's no loading screens. That was a big deal with this one. So I climbed all the way to the top, fought it on its nest, and I didn't know this was possible. It swung its tail around and hit me, but it also, like, knocked over this dam that I didn't know you could interact with, and it broke the dam. And this big, huge water slide came down and knocked us both off the entire mountain. It was fucking epic, dude. It was great. I was like, this game's fucking amazing. So then we both fell all the way down. It was like a good, like, maybe 10 seconds of my guy just being like, ah! And then he hits the ground. He took a little bit of damage, but the Rathian was also stunned. So then I got to beat the shit out of it. It was great, dude. I was like, this game just keeps getting better. You just keep discovering new little things about it, new little nuances. And fuck, it's awesome. It just feels so good. If you're thinking about it, would recommend. That's all I'm saying. Flit, how was your week?
My week's been pretty good. Had the TED Talk on Monday. That was nice. That was fun to edit and see everyone's responses to it.
Are you gonna go on Alex Jones soon? We talked about that in the Facebook chat.
Oh God, no. No, I don't think I can handle that. That's he does like 8 hours a day, and it's all just, it's a lot, man. I don't know.
And the whole time he's screaming. I don't know how he does it.
I don't know how he has a throat anymore. Like, I would imagine it just disintegrate after the first.
I mean, have you heard his
Maybe
voice?
that's why he's got that tone of voice.
I was about to
like,
say, he
growly,
basically
like,
doesn't.
Whatever. Like, he's just
Male vitality, you know.
Get your gooch wipes here.
Have you ever actually?
Anyway.
Okay, like I know, like I don't want to go too much into Alex Jones, but like, have you ever like watched some of it? Like the way he does his ad placement is so like he'll have this guest on, and the guest will be like, oh, you know, politicians and they're paying off the Wall Street bankers and all this stuff, and then Alex Jones goes, yeah, and that keeps the reptiles and the vampires in check, and then you're just like, wait, what? And then right when he says that, he goes, yeah, we're gonna cut to a commercial, and it's like, whoa.
I'll bring it back.
Hold on, you can't cut to a commercial now. You know what I mean? What about the vampires and the reptiles?
Where are they?
He never brings them back up until the next commercial. Then he'll say something quite ludicrous and ridiculous, and then they cut. Oh, male vitality. You know.
I'd recommend Joe Rogan's podcast with him and Ray Bravo. He goes into the vampires, the interdimensional vampires, and Joe Rogan's just sitting there like,
yeah, dude.
the whole time.
I like it when he goes,
so good.
Hey, Joe, I'm gonna tell you something. Joe. And Joe's like, what? He's like, you're not real. You're not here right now. And Joe's like, I'm not. And he's like, no. You're. I think he says like you're an interdimensional challenger, traveler going through the fucking system, and fucking Joe's just like, I don't even know, man. Like,
Joe's sitting there like, I'm never giving Alex Jones my weed again. That's never happened. This is a one-time event.
Oh, it was great, dude. All right, Brian. How you been, man? How you doing?
My week's
Man.
good.
Well, I thought you were just
You got
talking
three
about
intros.
that.
I can talk about my week before yours. All right.
Go
gives
for
a
Brian.
shit?
Spoiled little children over here? Like, Jesus.
I just
Tell
wanted
me
to
about
go.
Soul Calibur 6. Tell me about it.
Yeah.
All about it.
You know, look, my hype levels are unhealthy. I've watched every trailer. Is that cat fucking clawing on the... Okay. I can hear it. Fucking entropy. My wife Okay, whenever we open a new jug of milk, my wife grabs the fucking little milk tabs, and then the cats love it. They're springy off the beginning, and she throws them on the floor, and the cats will go nuts for like 3 hours.
Opens a what of milk?
Yeah, hold on here.
Yeah, we gotta back it up.
We don't
Representative for
have
the
bags
RCMP
in Canada or in Alberta. I would if I could. I honestly would. Our fridge actually, it doesn't have good space. So I can only fit 2 jugs in the door. I can't buy more milk. And if I could buy bags, I could fit easily 3 times.
No. I know what you're saying, but that's not the conversation we're having right now. What substance are you drinking?
Milk.
Okay.
Are you sure you weren't saying it with an A?
Oh,
Dude,
am I slurring it and saying melt?
like a girl I dated used to call bagels bagels. Pissed me off
this
every
thing's
time.
up fucking worlds all over again. Everybody's giving me a hard time for the way I say bagel, and I'm like, you know what? Fuck off. And anyway, so my week. I was in camp, of course, last week. I'm sure maybe it's a total surprise to you guys, and you definitely did not know when I was flying home. And then because I worked that many days in a row, I didn't have a lot of time to like do much else. So I pulled out my Game Boy and I was playing with my Game Boy basically while I was in camp. And then I was playing the new Fire Emblem game, which honestly, I don't know why they took 12 steps back from the previous Fire Emblem games. Like they just removed so much customization and so much everything. And then I decided I was gonna set up, part of it because of my Soul Calibur 6 hype. I'm like, I want to stream Soul Calibur 6. I set up my, I bought a new capture card and I set up like a PlayStation stream. And so I was and then I was like, what do I start my PlayStation stream with? And so I decided to pick up God of War finally, and I was playing the shit out of that yesterday.
It's pretty good.
And that's a really good game. I don't really get it's good. Like I'm not saying it's a bad game. I don't get the 10 out of 10. Like I really don't get the 10 out of 10. It's beautiful. It's 10 out of 10 graphics. It's 10 out of 10 storytelling. It definitely has a lot of emotion, but like gameplay, it's like an 8.
Solid
Like,
8 though. 8's good.
Like a solid 7.5, 8. Like
Yeah.
some of the puzzles, they're not that challenging, so like that's okay because I'm the kind of person that gets lost. And there's like 10 out of 10 presentation, but its actual weakest point is its gameplay so far. Many of the monsters are just annoying as fuck. Like at least with Batman, if somebody's gonna swing at you from the back, you can do the counter system.
Yeah.
So even if they're out of camera, you can kind of like react. And you're just like, there's times where there's just like 5 guys at range up in a building. I have to range attack them, but then I have to just dodge around for a long time until I have enough time to actually throw the ranged attack. And I'm like, this is actually kind of tedious. But then it's like so gorgeous. You're like, whatever, I'll keep going. So I was doing a bunch of that, and then
People like Kratos. I think that's what
Isn't
it
the
comes
big
down to.
like draw the cutscenes how it's all seamless? Like you can just keep.
Oh, it
playing
is.
and
Like even from the moment you hit the start menu, so like you load it up, it shows Kratos just like standing there with his hand on his tree. You hit new game, and the new game menu just disappears and the game just starts like right from that screen where he's kind of just standing there.
That's
tight.
cool.
So I was like, oh, hit new game, woo, and it's starting. And they're right. It is totally seamless. There are times, though, where it's like, oh, you go down into, the world tree to change to your different realm. You're changing from Midgard to Elfheim.
Right.
And you're like, okay, well, they're doing this whole thing. There's really not that much to see. So, like, it's technically loading. It's kind of like the Final Fantasy VIII loading screens where they were saying that to play a movie was really easy so that they could have more seamless transitions from certain moments where they would just play this, like, basically that's half the point sometimes of, like, big animated cutscenes in those games, because it was just, like, load video while loading this, like, big-ass map so you didn't get stuck on huge load times.
Right,
So there's
right.
a couple of things where I could see, like, past the veil. But overall, like, I'm not saying it's a bad game. It's like, if you give it, like, 5 10s and then an 8, you're like, all right. Like, it's still a great game.
Good
That
shit.
was my week.
Good shit.
All right, Flint, back to you.
All right.
Since
Yeah.
I cut you off.
TED Talk was good. I've been playing a lot of Dying Light this week. Loving the game a whole lot. I had an IRL thing happen to me, which I thought was kind of more fun than because I gushed over
Go for
Dying
it.
Light last week.
Right.
I don't know if down in the States you two have Princess Auto. You know what that is? Are you guys out west?
I don't think
have
we
it
have
out
that. I don't think we
Yeah,
have
okay.
that in
It's where
BC.
you use
Yeah,
your-
we do.
It's where you
I've
use
seen it
your
in Prince
words.
George. I've
Oh.
seen it in Kamloops.
yeah.
I've bought stuff from Princess Auto. I don't think they have it in the part of BC you're from, but
Yeah,
they do have them.
probably
in
not
BC.
on the island either, where I grew up,
So-
right? So anyway, go
Probably
ahead, Flint.
not.
Princess Auto is like, if you're doing any kind of project involving engines or basic house repair, it's like a Hicks dream store. There's just a lot in there. You can go like they have racks and racks of tools and like pumps and fucking welders and engines
yeah.
you can drop into your homemade
Usually
go-karts
pretty
and
cheap
shit
stuff
like that.
though.
And
from my
it's
memory of it.
it's cheap as fuck, but like it gets the job done. I think I
It's like
I funded a whole
yeah.
college project through it in my last
It's like
year.
the dollar store equivalent for a tool store.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And, I may or may not look like, traditional Canadian redneck. So we're hanging out there, and I've got a long sleeve shirt on. It's got like car logos on the back, and we were there to buy, I think. We went to the hunting store, and then we went to Princess Auto to look around. And I was walking around the store, and this middle-aged lady with her kid, like I'm just looking at tools, just fucking around. This lady and her kid come up to me.
What, Bryce was there?
Wow, dude.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Looking
I
at
think
tools.
So. It must have been Bryce. Yeah. I was like, oh fuck. I thought you were calling him a lady for a second. I was like, what are we doing here?
Oh no. Sorry.
Yeah. So they run up, and she said like, I need to know where pump fittings are. And her kid's staring at me too, and I'm just looking at him. I can't.
I don't
help
work
you.
here.
I don't. She's like, well, you obviously work here, so why don't you just tell me where they are? Look it up in the system. All right, first thing, lady, just because I'm wearing a fucking car shirt and a baseball cap does not mean I work at Princess Auto, okay? That just means I
Makes me
frequent
wonder what
there.
Princess Auto's dress code is like.
This is
it's
just
not-
like as
I wasn't even
redneck as
wearing-
possible, or what?
No, they're wearing like bright blue. It's like the Canadian Tire uniform. It's like a bright blue fucking T-shirt that says Princess Auto across the fucking chest, and they wear a Princess Auto hat. Like I look nothing like an employee there.
honestly
Apparently enough.
You should have just went along with it and been like,
I should.
oh no, lady, fucking find it yourself. I want to talk to your manager. Go fucking get him.
Yeah, fucking get him, bitch.
Go
Like,
get Gary. Let's see what he has to fucking say. No, it's like,
bitch, I want to talk to your manager.
I was like, lady, I don't fucking work here. I'm just looking at tools. And she looked at me like, duh! And she just fucking like went off into like an aisle somewhere. Like, what? Who the
Suddenly
fuck does
you've
that?
ruined her day by not
Yeah.
working there.
Sorry, I'm not employed at Princess Auto. I'll try harder. I'll fucking bring my resume in next time I'm looking for a fucking wrench. God
no
damn.
kidding.
It's like I don't understand people that just assume. Like at least ask if you work at the place first. Like I don't know. It's just,
That's
See,
pretty
I'm trying
funny.
to think of how sometimes people know you work at places. So I was working at a superstore. It was like the first job I ever had. Second job. I only worked for like 3 weeks before I gave up and quit on that fucking place. I was working night shift. And this was back at a time where I decided I would look good with a beard. I don't. And
what's your beard look like? Out of curiosity, like is it like patchy
man,
beard?
it's like a
or,
porcupine growing out of my
Porcupine.
face. Like it's just no, it's thick, but it's just like
Ooh,
super
it's
coarse
thick.
and not that
Yeah,
like
let's see.
Dick.
it's not good. I look homeless. So I was looking
to
mighty
see it now.
homeless. I was wearing like an In Flames t-shirt because I worked night shift, so there wasn't a dress code, and I was wearing like jeans and some steel toes. But because I worked night shift and the store opened at 7, there was like this grandma that came in at 7 and somehow immediately identified that I worked at the fucking superstore, which is a grocery store in Canada.
Yeah,
And they were asking me all kinds of questions. And I'm just seeing Flint get identified, and I'm like, what do the superstore staff look like that Brian with a homeless beard and like tattered jeans and tattered t-shirt is like immediately identified as working at that store?
I don't know if they just like assume that if you look enough like an employee that you must be an employee. I don't know.
My only other guess would be that like a 19-year-old is not going to superstore at 6 in the morning. That'd be the only.
Yeah,
you know.
no, that's a fair point. It was middle of the day for me, so it was like I would very much have to have been in a fucking uniform for this lady to catch on. But like I don't know, some people are just impatient. I guess that was just not something I see every day. So that's a little funny.
Clint, what is going on with you right now?
What do you mean? What's going on with me right now?
Okay, if you don't watch the YouTube videos, first you should tune in so you can just look at Brian's cat the whole time.
Look at fucking Nate with the
Like,
countdown, dude. He's
yeah.
fucking sidelined right now, dude. I love this.
The
Look at
fucking
Nate's-
cat. You just come here. You just come here and watch the cat. And then, so Flint has a growler.
Yep.
He also
do.
has a glass, but
I do.
he's being the typical fucking Princess Auto Canadian is and drinking straight from the fucking growler for some reason. I've never seen some shit like that in my life.
It's fresher that way, dude. I don't know what to tell you.
It's fresher.
It's like when you pick an apple from the tree versus buying it at the fucking superstore. I brought it around.
To be fair, Bryce, I'm watching my cat and my camera too.
Yeah.
Cat cam.
Anybody listening to this episode, if you want to watch a black kitty play with, I don't know what he's playing with. I think it's like a twist tie when he came close with it.
And we
And
just
he's
shot
playing
up
it on the
100
stairs.
views.
He's
just
like
like
right
that.
in the camera shot. You could just watch my little black cat play with a fucking twist tie.
SoundCloud
Hopefully
views
he
are
goes the
down.
whole
YouTube views
episode.
are up. Whoa, what happened here?
What happened here?
So you're
Yeah.
More hair than Bryce.
you're drinking straight from the growler, and you have a flask.
Yeah.
And a glass.
Yeah,
So I counted 3 different devices you were consuming alcohol from, at least.
Yeah.
Fucking
Yeah.
send it,
What is in
bud.
the flask?
Listen,
Are you having
It's-
Bears Ruppel right now?
it's it's a Japanese whiskey in the flask.
Whoa.
Nishiwa.
Konnichiwa, my good friend.
But it's a long weekend this weekend. I don't have to go to work
That's right.
tomorrow. I
Labor Day.
I can send it today.
You guys have Labor Day in the States?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a long week for you guys too.
Yep.
Yep.
All right. It's
Full
Bryce,
flask though.
Nate. How's you guys? I guess it's Nate, the champ. 22-0 or whatever
Yeah.
I said. The champ. How was your week, man? What are you up to?
Week was good until I flew into Dallas to see this jackass to my
Yeah,
right.
true enough. That's
Yeah.
just a fucking shitty ass week.
Yeah, and if you could see like text messages, we're on a thread of like former coworkers and friends and stuff, and he's
Got it.
shitting constantly on me in the thread. So I'm like, why then did I spend money to travel here
Yeah.
and spend 4 days of abuse in person again? But I guess I'm a glutton for punishment. I'm more of a Switch player, so I just finished West of Loathing.
Oh, okay.
Just this past weekend. And has anybody played or seen the Fire and the Flood?
No, I don't
Fire in
think
the
so.
Flood. No. Except for a Nintendo Switch?
They're porting it out to the Switch now. Yeah.
So
or
what is
it
that?
was ported out last year. Anyways, that's what I picked up. I have no real idea what it is. It's kind of
Cool.
multi parts to it. One part is just the main character like floating on a raft, and you have to navigate the raft, and then there's side quests you take as you get off, and you literally have to survive this oncoming apocalyptic flood type situation. So
That sounds kind of cool.
we'll see.
Yeah.
And then I
Looks
don't know
pretty.
what Jackass has been doing while I'm not here. His work day is pretty slick, so I
Yeah.
don't know. What have you been up to?
I haven't played anything. So. Da-da-da. I
Cool.
went I
How many
went
weeks is that in a
camping
row
last
now,
weekend.
Bryce?
Probably couple three weeks.
Couple threes, 6 weeks.
How much longer do you got left on your gaming theory class?
I finished last week. I started.
How'd you do?
I got a 97.
Damn, son. Why did you study too much?
Online classes are pretty easy. It's just what
That's
I
true.
put it down to.
Yeah.
Do you have to do
There's
the in-class shit too? Like, do you have to go
No.
into the school, or you just it's
okay.
all online? Okay.
It's all
All right.
online.
There's guys at work there. They're power engineers, and you need a 65 to pass the exam. And it's a not really graded. It's you get 65, you pass, right? So
Right.
guys, like you get 80, it doesn't matter. You don't get any bonus points, right? So anytime someone comes in there and they got like, oh, I got 90%, the guys are like, oh, you study too much. Like always, like. Or like if a guy goes, oh, I got 65, they're like, 100%, nice. Like, it's pretty
Pass-fail
funny.
classes are great for that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's part of me that it's like in school, there's the people that are like, I got the 4.0, and I'm like, I got a job.
Yeah.
You know,
That's always been my mentality
C's
too.
get
Like, hey, man.
degrees, man, and I've got the job, and they're still looking. But oh man, that 4.0 treated you some fucking well, didn't it?
Damn.
Pretty easy to get a 4.0 when you're talking about fucking art. I don't know. No, fuck.
No, these are like the dirt
Yeah, I
engineers,
know,
dude.
Brian. You went to engineer school.
We know
So
our
that-
fucking dirt, all right?
Yeah,
they
that's
know it
right.
better than I do, clearly, but I'm the one working it apparently.
Alrighty, all right.
That's it. Nothing.
Nothing. Alrighty. So, it's gonna throw it off with 5 people, but I think we can make this work because we'll just count Bryce and Nate as the fucking. They're gonna do a fusion dance and be kind of one person here. I'm feeling it.
I don't know
So
if I'm excited or terrified with the results of this fusion dance.
let me just get the fucking numbers. All right. Because I got the listen.
Fucking
Let's
hard
go
to
back.
mix with the
Let's go
mic.
back to 1983.
83.
1983.
Holy shit!
Hold on,
I was
just
not born.
Flint, you and me
You
both.
weren't even a thought yet, Flint. Neither was
Yeah.
I.
Not even a sparkle in my dad's eye.
Listen. So then what happened was the release of the Nintendo Entertainment System. Everyone's familiar with this. Mario, Nintendo, Metroid, Link, y'all know. What happened is this was this business idea. It came out. It was amazing. So other companies were like, hey, we're going to make one of these too. So they created the Sega Genesis, which came out in '89, which was a huge hit all over the place. The Sega Genesis. Oh, wow, Sega Genesis is so fucking great. But Nintendo wasn't done. So they released in Japan in '90, in North America in '91, the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. So let me ask you, gentlemen, this created the very first console war. Genesis, Super Nintendo. This is a clash of the ages. So we're going to divide into teams and we're going to talk this out, boys. I have right in front of me all of our names, except I just added Nate's name to Bryce's.
They're one person now.
So
Unfortunate.
I don't know who's gonna be defending who, but we're gonna split into two teams. Is my idea. Let's just see where this goes. So, Brian, what are you hoping to get? I'm just curious. Is there
Nintendo, because I don't think Sega has a fucking chance. If you put me on the Sega team, I'm fucked.
I'm not. I'm letting fate decide. What are you thinking, Flint?
Listen, I'm a Nintendo fanboy, but Sega in the 90s had the fucking best ad of that whole decade.
It's true.
Sega does what Nintendo don't.
Oh, yeah.
Pulling out the wordplay. So I'd be happy with either, but I prefer
What are you
Nintendo.
thinking?
That ad came out when you weren't even a sparkle still.
Doesn't matter. I still know it. I can read.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, people remember the console.
It might be
war to
half
this
snap,
day.
but I can still fucking read. All right? Don't come at me.
What are you thinking here, Nate and Bryce?
We were actually talking about this just recently because I picked up the Super Nintendo Classic or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
So we were talking about it, and it's funny how it falls, like you said. Like, I mean, typically were one or the other.
Yeah.
Me, I was always Nintendo.
Yeah, Nintendo all the way.
Okay, so
Dunk
I
on
also had a
Sega.
SNES, but I had a buddy who had a Genesis, right? So I was lucky enough to try out both in that regard because he was my neighbor. So let's divide these teams. For Team Super Nintendo, Flint and Brian.
Yes. Oh, good. I don't have to try to
That's-
fight
you know
the
what?
losing battle.
No, this is not a
Honestly,
losing battle.
I'm excited but worried because, like, Bryce frightens me a little bit. in these debates, okay? Like, he scares me.
Okay.
Like, there's this little flame of fear.
Let's just
I'm backing up Flint's fear a little bit because these usually come down to meme wars more than they come
Obviously.
down to
Well,
actual facts. Because like actual facts, Nintendo
Bowser
wins.
Jr.
Meme
is a
wars,
Listen,
Bryce
listen.
terrifies
Like,
me.
that's-
He's the heavy hitter.
Okay,
for
come
me. Like,
on.
he comes in strong and he's got a second mind to help him today.
Yeah.
This is,
So, well, it's you know what? It's kind of fair that there's 3 people on Genesis. You know what I mean? I guess that kind of works. in that
they need
sense.
all the help they can get.
Listen,
man.
all right.
If
Well,
you
let's
fucking
back
for
it
real.
up. Let's back it up. So we'll start this like in '89 when the NES came out. It was just like a little 8-bit, right? It was all 8-bit. The Genesis came out first. You have to remember that. So the Genesis came out and it was like, motherfucker, 16-bit, bitch, right? Like, where you at, Nintendo? That was the whole like mindset, right? So then the Super Nintendo came out. So I have here the specs, right, of just both consoles. Let's just start hardware. Super Nintendo, 3.58 megahertz CPU. Genesis,
Oh wow.
Genesis, 7.6. Get fucked, Super Nintendo. Yeah, fucking the rest of it doesn't matter. Not going to talk about the rest of the specs, but
You mean the ones where Super Nintendo wins all of them, Matt?
no, yeah. Well, listen.
Those ones?
Listen. I'm looking at it. You know, RAM, 128 kilobits for SNES, 64 kilobits for Genesis. Audio channel 8 for SNES, 6 for Genesis. You know what? I'm looking like colors. 32,000 colors on SNES, 500 colors on Genesis. I'm looking at all this. It probably can't even run all that shit with that bitch ass CPU.
That's fair.
Let's be
'cause,
real.
Sega
Let's
fans
be
like
real.
to eat crayons, so they probably want more color anyway, right?
No, you don't need it. Is what we're saying. We don't. You guys have more. You guys like to have all.
Yeah,
that
because
color.
Sega fucking
I'm
ate all
saying,
the crayons,
listen,
dude.
you have
They ran out of color.
30,000 colors. You probably can't even use them all with that bitch ass CPU. Like, let's be real. You can't do it. We got blast processing, motherfucker.
What does that mean? Define blast processing for me real quick, Matt.
It means
what does
it means that
What does it mean?
it means that bitch ass Mario can't keep up with Sonic. That's all it needs. That's all it means. Sonic too fast, man. You're too slow. You're too slow.
Sorry. Who owns Sonic now? Is it still Sega? Because
Yeah,
them. Pretty sure Nintendo
Seg-
bought Sega, didn't they?
Well, it's still Sega then. I mean, Sega still.
Did they
But
actually
Nintendo-
buy Nintendo? Is that how Sonic ended up in Smash Bros? Like, look.
Not
that'll
originally,
sell
but
more
maybe
copies,
now.
We'll make the money.
Not originally, because Sega did go third party. Like originally, it was just a deal, but maybe now, I don't know. Flint, bring up the receipts.
All right, hold on.
That actually makes me wonder how long till Disney
No,
buys
Sega's
Nintendo
its own
and
company.
then
I thought for
fucking
sure they
Peach
got
shows
bought
up
out.
as a Princess of Heart in Kingdom Hearts.
What's that, Flint?
I was incorrect. I thought Nintendo bought Sega. I was wrong. I was wrong.
Ooh, boo, making up shit. No, I'm kidding, man.
What? Shit, I'm gonna edit the Wikipedia page.
No
Really
way. Real quick, yeah.
Hold on. Let me edit.
All
this.
right. Well,
Owned
let's
by Nintendo.
listen. I'm looking at like the stats are very clear. In a lot of regards, none that really matter. The only one that matters is CPU, but it looks like the SNES wins. But honestly, like, and this is like I'm trying to be a little unbiased just for a sec here. If you look at most games side by side, there's some Genesis games that look great, like regardless, and there's some Super Nintendo games that look eh. It really just depended on, budget and time and management. So and also
Developer.
there's some of those Genesis games that I would rather play than modern games that look great. So I'm not a big on like, oh, graphics make the game, right?
Well, that's why Nintendo's still in the market.
Hey man, they're still making Sonic games. I don't know what to tell you. On Nintendo
No, I meant,
consoles.
Like, the graphics don't make the games. Like,
Yeah.
if the graphics made the games, then...
Oh yeah, that's
you
what
know.
you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, like, Nintendo's still in the market with a fraction of the power, but their
Listen,
brand recognition,
let's
brand
just talk
loyalty,
about
brand masochism.
probably the number one important thing. And I was thinking about this while I was driving home from work last night. I was like, I kind of hope I get Genesis just to make this point. If you look at both consoles, motherfucking the Super Nintendo looks like something in an 8-year-old girl's playroom. All right. Fuck that shit. The Sega Genesis looks like you could jump into it and fly to fucking Mars, dude. That thing looks bad fucking ass. It's black, it's sleek, it's got Genesis written on it, 16-bit. They put it on the fucking console. It's ready to go. With purple ass Super Nintendo.
You only put
switches.
16-bit on there.
Barney
if
looking
you're
at
like,
Super Nintendo.
That's right. From the sideline. Thanks, my guy.
how does it feel to be sidelined there, Bryce? I don't know.
Nate,
I'll give Matt that. The Nintendo is not an attractive
Yo,
console.
no, Brian, you don't give him points. Don't give him
Woo!
points. It's the
Too
whole
late
point.
now. Too late now.
God damn it.
No take backs.
Well,
No take backs.
I see it's 4v1 now. Okay, I understand. I get it. All right, I'm just gonna list off some fucking Super Nintendo titles here.
We'll get to games. We'll get to games.
No.
We'll get. No,
We're
we're
still
I'm
talking
sorry.
straight console.
we're
before
talking
games?
other shit. Well, games is a
All
whole
right,
other
all right,
section.
all right.
Look,
Because that's like, let's be real. Games is like the meat of the discussion. We gotta do all
okay.
the.
Fine,
We're doing
fine. We'll look at
bread.
the console.
We're doing a sandwich,
do
Flint.
bread.
We're doing a sandwich.
Okay, so here's my sandwich. What button layout do controllers use right now? Current day.
I was going the controller route too, Flint. My boy.
Let me
Is it 1, 2, 3 like a fucking 2-year-old, or is it ABXY? Which one is that one, Matt? Which one is that?
Remind me what kind of controller we play when we play Brawlhalla, Flint.
Oh, you wanted to see my Brawlhalla controller? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
because I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure that's based
yeah.
off of a Genesis.
You mean that
Yeah.
one with ABXY on it?
that's
I'm just
that
talking
one?
layout.
Yeah,
I'm
it's still
talking layout.
ABXY.
I'm talking layout.
that
buttons
controller
across three.
is looking like a Sega controller right there.
That is definitely like half the buttons,
Look,
but that's a time
Or
thing.
do you want this one that's
Cornfield
also
fucking
ABXY?
Canadian with the weird ass shaped controller is not
Or do you want this one?
representative of the total volume of people,
that
you
one
know,
that's
with the
ABXY?
Nintendo shaped controller.
You have a Steam controller? Why?
Or do you want that one that's ABXY? It's literally a Super Nintendo
I-
controller, but it
I was
counts. all right?
I was about to say I don't even know what that is. Like, I've never seen one of those in my life.
It's called a RetroLink, and it lets me play my Super Nintendo games on my PC.
I figured. I mean,
Oh.
no. because that's wrong and illegal.
Is it literally just got all the games stored inside the controller's memory?
No. You have to.
No, he's
have
talking
a thing.
Oh,
but
okay. Because like,
yeah.
I mean, considering how
Yar.
small the data sizes are, I'm surprised they haven't
Pirate.
just made a USB
Yar.
and just plug it in.
Or like
go.
this classic one is ABXY or like
No, like this one.
You have
has,
that many controllers
has like
in reach.
ABXY.
Like, how much stuff do you have on your desk?
I don't know. Like I mean, like I got more.
Did you forget the color of your desk years ago? Like,
It's brown.
if you couldn't see the legs, you probably wouldn't know what color
or
your desk
like
is.
or like
There's so
this
much
one
shit
that's
on it.
that's ABXY. Or that one. That one's also ABXY. I don't know.
See,
This
look,
is
I'm
ready
just
for
seeing,
some
I'm
Smash
just seeing a
Bros.
bunch of Nintendo consoles. Of course, they're gonna have the same shit.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Or this one. That's ABXY.
I mean, the numbers have changed, but it is still the same layout
Yeah.
of the PlayStation controller.
Or that one is also ABXY.
I think your point's been made, Flint.
I don't know.
I got a lot of controllers around here. Just throwing it out there. None seem to be 1, 2, 3. What console has 1, 2, 3 other than Sega Genesis, Matt? What's that? Which one's that?
Listen, man, because imitating greatness is never the solution. You know, there's a reason why no one tried to be David Bowie, because they're like, that's too great. I can't be David Bowie, man.
I've also heard, imitation is the most sincere form of flattery. Isn't that a?
No, that's not. That's just what people say.
Is that a different
That's just
thing? Is
what
that
people,
not?
that's just not true. That's not a thing. Bryce, what do you got for me, man? What are you thinking on the Genesis? Or Nate, what do you guys think?
Well, I mean, have you seen a Genesis, like one of the original ones in a store anywhere? Have you seen the way the sleek layout and the plastic
Hell yeah.
didn't turn orange or yellow or green?
Yo, that's
Right?
for real though.
I
You know how
mean-
many fucking SNESes look like piss yellow now?
The test
Like,
of
for real?
time proves that the Genesis has the much better chassis of the two systems.
Boom! There's my fucking shit on.
Yeah, but you could throw a fucking
Longevity.
Toyota Corolla engine in a goddamn Ferrari, and it's still a piece of shit, broken down Corolla.
Get shit on
Like-
back! Ooh!
That don't mean fuck
Oh,
all.
piss yellow ass fucking console.
Yeah, who wants to display that thing on a shelf and be like, look, it looks like somebody urinated on it. It's only 25 years old.
This gross ass purple and oh yeah.
Horrible.
25 years
Genesis.
is a lot of pee.
You
to
got
be
your
fair.
Genesis. It's fucking sleek. Like I said, you jump into it looks like you could fly it to fucking Mars. It looks fucking cool.
What do you think the fucking aliens modeled their spaceships off of? A fucking Sega Genesis.
That's right, man.
Cool.
They saw that shit. They were like, man, humanity is too advanced. We ain't gonna invade this shit.
Nope.
We out.
Alright,
Like,
Ghostbusters 2. What controller do they use to run the Statue of Liberty? Was that a fucking
oh,
Nintendo controller?
hold up. Are we going the celebrity route, Flint?
oh.
Are we going
Yeah, I think
celebrity?
so. I think
Motherfucking Michael Jackson's Moonwalker. What console was that on again? Oh yeah,
That was-
motherfucking
I-
Sega Genesis.
You know what? I've only seen one thing about that game, and it was
That was the-
trash. So, I mean, I don't know why you're bringing up trash.
That
games.
game is awesome. That game's amazing. Michael
Trash
Jackson.
Seen the angry video game
Dancing.
reviews of that?
Yeah, I have, but he was wrong. You can turn into a robot and
You
shoot
didn't tell the
things.
grandfather of the internet, video game nerd, that he's fucking incorrect. I don't know.
Thriller. Side
No
note.
one's saying
Side note.
Thriller
I've
ain't
actually
fire.
met James
I'm
Rolfe.
not gaming.
He's a really nice guy. Just side note.
you?
I met him. He's really cool. I got a picture with.
I'm
I'll
jealous.
I'll upload a picture. He fingered the camera when I met him.
Well,
When you
Wait a
started that
second.
sentence, it did not.
no.
He fingered mine.
no.
He did. He was like.
Yeah,
he
when
was
you
like.
fingered mine. I went, wait, what?
That is. He
That's a
gave the
weird-
finger in my picture. Might have been the better.
I think I said he
Verbology?
fingered the camera, not my camera. But
No,
No,
you
he-
said
he fingered
my
my-
the.
Pause. There was a pause there that shouldn't have been there.
I like to keep you guys suspended. Whatever. You know what,
what?
James Rolfe? Open invitation. You want it, you can have it, buddy.
Finger my ass.
That's right. I don't give a shit. I might actually, depending on. Anyway.
Maybe after.
Oh,
Point is, listen.
it's like
Mo-
starting
listen.
a lawnmower. Really.
Yeah, good one. Moonwalker was amazing Also, Michael Jackson did the music for Sonic 3, which is fucking cool. It's fucking badass, dude. Thriller.
Yeah.
We don't need to go to outside artists to
All right,
get
look.
fucking good music.
I think it's a
Yeah.
tough call to say. I'm gonna call it maybe a draw on the actual console, because realistically, the legacy is not held by the
Can't
quality of
decide
the actual
that
product that's
it's
sitting
a
there.
draw for the pissed ass, yellow ass fucking.
Bryce going back.
Yeah, but yeah, okay. Well, look, you got the sleek or the sleek outward body. We have the powerful inner body, right? We've got the Ferrari engine.
No, Matt already said
We've got
we got
the
more horsepower.
32,000
We got
colors.
CPU. What do you guys got? No, you look.
We
All
got
this
CPU.
shit. You guys have all these colors, all this sound. You can't use it. You don't have the power to use it. It's a faulty
Yeah.
design.
You got your
Did
Ferrari.
you not see the
motherfucker
meme I
can't
saw?
move
Bottle-
down
you
the
guys are
road.
bottle-
And it
bottlenecked.
was like,
You guys are
Here's the
bottlenecked."
competitor. There was a meme I saw, and it was like, here's every comparison ad ever, and they were like, thing that you don't need more than 4 megahertz of, Sega has 7. Everything else, the competitors do better, but it doesn't matter because we've got the thing that we need more of that
Fake
you don't
news.
actually need more of.
Fake news.
The only meme
I mean,
I've
look, we've
seen
got
is
European
Soul Calibur
listeners.
6 is
They
coming
love
out.
the Mini. It's not the size, it's what you do with it. And what they did with it was completely and utterly pathetic compared to Nintendo.
What are you talking about?
Brian, sympathetic. Oh.
Miss me with that. Whoa. See that Whoa.
It missed. It missed.
It missed. Genesis still looking fly.
Yeah.
Not bottlenecked at all. Peak performance at all times because of that CPU. Like I said, Super Nintendo, you got all these colors, all these sounds. Can't. It's bottleneck.
Dude,
It's bottleneck.
The Genesis is like that guy at the gym that bleaches his asshole, all right? He's not.
How close did you have to get to make that final determination?
I don't even actually know like how to take that. What's wrong
No.
with the dude who bleaches his asshole?
Yeah, dude.
I'm just saying, you know,
Why are
he's
you
caring too
infringing?
much about
Why are
the
you
looks.
infringing on his
Then-
asshole
then, like,
rights?
the-
Asshole's looking clean while yours is looking fucking shit stained piss yellow.
Like your Super Nintendo.
Listen, I'm saying it's all about the product. How much can you bench, man? Like, homie bleached
about
his
how
asshole.
much-
That's time he could be spending on the machines, you
And
know?
we got
He's
more,
not.
We got more than processors to be fucking.
He's in the
That's right.
shower grossing everyone out, fucking pouring that bleach right in there, all right?
The Super Nintendo.
No one wants
is
to use
like,
the shower after
This
him.
is not the direction a console war video I thought it would go, to be honest with you guys. And I love it. So,
Wait, what
okay,
did
well,
you
we
I'm
talked.
saying.
I was just gonna say
Listen.
the Super Nintendo is like the guy at the gym who's got the big top heavy, he's all busted out, but he clearly missed leg days. How the hell are those skinny ass legs
That's right,
carrying
man.
around that big bulky
He's
bullshit?
bottlenecked.
bottleneck.
Just like you said.
Yeah, but the
But
Sega
if-
Genesis is like the guy with the bad spray tan. He thinks he's that special, but
On his
really,
asshole.
you know he's an asshole.
Hey, at least our spray tan stays for a fucking long time and ain't piss
That's
ass
right.
yellow.
That's right. You look. At least we got
I
the
mean-
good. We got a high quality spray tan. You guys went to like the old crusty Italian dude. Yeah, I'll give
Yeah.
you a spray tan.
Fucking $5 Planet Fitness membership over there.
I'll give you a fucking spray tan.
Hey, when he
get
sprays
in
it,
here.
how do Italians give like spray people with spray tans? They're like, hey,
Well, you
like
almost
that.
fucking sprayed yourself there. That was
No,
cool.
it's just the cap. It's a tap.
They hit him with fucking hand sanitizer.
No, this is LCD plasma TV screen cleaner.
Oh, okay.
Oh, shit, gotta get that plasma in there.
Well, I like to have a clean screen. What can I say, boys? All right. Well, listen, it's very clear that we're undecided on specs. You could argue if you actually look at both consoles, like how the games run, both look pretty fucking good. Let's be real. So let's talk about probably one of the biggest impacts ever, and that was Mario and Sonic. Let's just so first NES, which isn't really relevant. So Mario, little dude, that's where his first game was. Run to the right, groundbreaking, pretty awesome game. Mario 2, which wasn't really Mario 2, Doki Doki Panic, anyway. And then Mario 3, fucking unreal game, really good. And then, so we're really looking at Super Mario versus Sonic. And Sonic had its trilogy on the Genesis. Was there anything else on, like, any other, like, main...
Knockoffs.
Yeah, there were knockoffs, and then there was, like, Mario is Missing.
Like
which
I
is
had Super Mario, or not Super Mario. I had Sonic Pinball.
yeah.
I had like Eggman's Mean Bean Machine.
Oh, yeah. Well, what about on Nintendo because I used to
Like
just
Kirby's Avalanche, which was the exact same game as Eggman's Mean Bean Machine, like to the wire, just like a reskin, exact same game.
That's hilarious. Is there any
There
other,
was
like...
Mario Paint.
Okay, yeah, Mario Paint.
Dude, people still play Mario Paint? All right,
It's true.
If you're gonna give credit for one thing, they still use it and like they make. Now it's not the greatest song to do, but did you see the remaking of Nickelback's? I think it's like Photograph.
Yeah, I've also seen Through the Fire and the Flames.
Through the Fire and the Flames.
Listen.
Done on Mario Paint.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it now. I kind of like Nickelback. I'm gonna throw it out there.
How the hell we wind up like this?
Look, all right, cliches are popular for a reason.
All right. Yeah. Listen.
I
There you
don't
go.
know,
Here's another point. Super Nintendo had a mouse before PC gaming was popular. Sega have a mouse? I don't.
What
think
year
so.
did Doom come out?
Ooh. I don't know.
Pretty fucking sure Doom came out before. I don't know if I agree with that.
Okay.
Super
I got a
Nintendo
cat,
has
so
a
I'm not
mouse.
gonna Google, but
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it did.
yeah, Super Nintendo had a mouse. Mario Paint had like a mouse you could actually
Yeah,
like,
to-
attach into the controller
to draw.
and use.
Yeah.
They also had the Super Scope. Like we're talking hardware. I mean,
Genesis
sure, that
had
thing
a
took you
gun.
like 16 batteries for like 4 hours of game.
Okay.
That
Genesis
shit
had a
was
little
fun,
had a
dude.
little gun like a. You know, it's like, oh, you want to play a gun on a Super Nintendo? Fucking get the bazooka out. America. This is
I
more
had that thing.
American.
I thought we were
console.
talking about how size
Awesome.
didn't matter.
So
Hey.
rocket launchers are still fucking cool. I love that
right.
Super Scope, dude.
Okay,
That
we're
thing was
getting a
awesome.
little attached. Let's just like Sonic would run.
Look.
laps.
You're only killing the attachment side because the attachment side
We
is what
can-
wins the Nintendo argument.
I said we're talking
Power
about Mario
pad.
and Sonic. I said we're
Power
talking about.
pad.
Okay,
All right, we're on
that
to Mario-
power pad was a
I have
joke.
an
Let's be
important
real here.
question. I have a really important question about the Mario and Sonic.
'Kay.
Are we going to talk solely about their performance within those two consoles, or
Yes.
about their lasting legacy and their future works?
We're talking
Because
about.
we all know that it's like, look, this
We're-
is like the high school jock who did like really well. You know, he's in grade 12. He's captain of the football team, and then you see him
Fucking
drunk
all the
in a
cheerleaders,
trailer,
bleaching his
you know,
asshole.
working at Walmart. And like that's Sonic. Like sure he could run real fast.
Yeah.
He hasn't done anything with his
We're
life
talking about
since.
Genesis and Super Nintendo. That's what we're talking about. The console wars.
All right, fine. So we're talking about the high school years of Mario
All
and
right.
Sonic.
We're talking the two
Because
consoles
Sonic a
head
two-pump
to head.
chump. That's all I'm saying.
Head to head.
Mario's got that endurance.
Oh, you know what? I just remembered. There's the other Mario game, Super Mario World 2, the Yoshi one, where you have Baby Mario bitching.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Baby Yoshi. Oh,
Yeah.
the fucking one of the best games ever. Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, real.
Super Mario RPG, Super Nintendo. How many people are big fans of JRPGs now to this day because of Super Mario RPG?
Super man with Gino.
Honestly,
Hell yeah.
I heard Square Enix say people don't like those games, so Square Enix said it.
Yeah, but JRPGs are making a huge new comeback, so they were just wrong.
I know.
Square Enix
Actually, like,
full,
yo,
Square Enix full of shit though. Let's be
yeah,
real.
no, like low key, like out, like behind the mic, behind the scenes, like Square Enix, you fucking idiots, like Jesus Christ. But like, back on character, nah, they were right. No one likes those games, like. No,
Yeah,
look,
dude,
listen,
let's make Final
listen.
Fantasy. No one likes Final Fantasy.
Yeah, exactly.
No one likes JRPGs.
Super Mario World, whatever, Goombas, Koopas, all the same shit.
Literally begging, please re-release Final Fantasy VII. No one likes JRPGs.
Yeah,
Do that.
exactly. For real though. We'll put Cloud and Smash. There you go. Good enough. No, man, like Sonic, look, God, he's running fast. First Sonic game's great. It's awesome. What did the Sonic 2 do? They gave you fucking Tails. I got a text from Flint saying he's the OG. Tails is the OG, man.
Sonic,
fucking
Fake
great.
news. Never have.
Sonic
Never
could
have.
never be.
Fake news.
Sonic could never be on Super Nintendo. It's not fast enough.
That's right. Bottlenecked. He'd start running, the fucking thing would
Sonic
catch fire.
exists because of the processors in Sega.
Blast
No, you know why
processing.
Sonic exists? Sonic exists because Mario is actually bred from like a love of creating video games. He was a loved character and he was made. He then had a whole console generation to go, and he became the mascot, one of the most well-known. Like more people know the name Mario than Jesus across the world. There was actually a study shown that showed that.
I'm gonna
Sonic-
need that
Damn.
linked in the show notes. I don't believe that's a real thing. Brian's using his super smart voice right now, so we're not questioning any of the facts he's saying. Trust me,
Yeah.
Mario.
This is the hot dog
everybody
shit all
knows
over again.
But
Everybody knows Mario. I have been there. Mario.
I think I actually saw the thing that said that Mario. It was like Mario, and who else was there? There was like Santa Claus. There was a bunch, and like Mario was the most recognizable name across the planet.
I just Googled Mario more than Jesus, and I got a website that does a comparison here. So, Jesus' heaven is full of angels. Mario's heaven is full of gold coins. Point to Mario. Jesus has to walk
That's
everywhere.
not a point.
Mario has a go-kart. Point to Mario. Jesus had 12 disciples who abandoned him. Mario had Luigi, who looked so goddamn the same. Point to Mario. Plumbers make more money than carpenters. Point to Mario. Oh shit! I'm bookmarking this site. This is fire.
That's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, that's
alright,
pretty fucking good.
Oh, yo!
actually
Even though December 25th is Jesus' birthday, millions of kids around the world receive Mario video games. Point to Mario. Get shit on.
All right. So now Mario's beating out a mystical figure here.
Yeah,
How
Mario
does
beat
Sonic
Jesus.
compete with that? I guess he runs real fast. Also, the point I was getting to with that was because Mario had built this reputation, had built this like fan base. Sonic was actually bred from a basically corporate office meeting that said we need to make somebody to compete with Mario. He's literally blue to counteract Mario's red. Like, everything about him was just designed to be the opposite of Mario. The speed that they were aiming for came at the sacrifice of the rest of the gameplay. They were just like, look, we just got to go fast. Because, again, they're kind of really going for this Ferrari outside look, and that was really the only thing Sega cared about. He has no basic soul. He was not created and loved. Sonic has no soul. He is just a marketing ploy.
I don't think he has no soul. I don't think he was a marketing play. I think people who
Look,
made it
I mean,
were
if
pretty
anything,
passionate.
his most recent games show that he really had no soul, because anybody with a soul wouldn't make those decisions.
We're not talking about Genesis then. We're talking about, or Genesis now. We're talking about Genesis then.
Genesis in
He's
the
a
Bible.
construct.
Mario canonically beats Jesus. Fucking Super Nintendo wins.
Metallic Sonic was realistically more on point than anybody realized. Soulless marketing ploy.
Get fucked. Well, here I'll settle this. We had a bracket a few episodes ago. Pretty sure Mario made it farther in the bracket. Both got stomped by Donkey Kong, but I'm pretty sure Mario made it
that's
farther in the
unavoidable.
bracket.
That was
than
unavoidable.
Sonic. Well, you can't beat DK. DK is actually just OP. Oh wait, which console was DK on again? Was he on the
Also
Super
the
Nintendo? Oh shit! Oh no!
We're not here to talk about DK right now. We're
The
talking about
bracket
Mario.
blaster
We're talking about
DK
Mario.
himself is
We're
on
talking
Super
about Mario.
Nintendo?
We'll get to
no.
Donkey Kong
Look,
Country.
all right. Mario's standing there. He's looking all pretty. He's like, look, we're competing, but like DK's just standing behind him with his arms crossed, and Sonic's just looking pathetic right now.
Looking
He's
pathetic?
weak.
Yo, Sonic about to get the 7 motherfucking Chaos Emeralds. That was fucking hype when you figured that shit out as a kid. Getting
Then he goes
invincibility.
Super Saiyan, and
Super
you're like,
Saiyan, yeah.
We're not stuck in Hell in a Cell this time, so ain't
But
nobody
to get
catching
those
Yeah,
fucking
man.
Chaos Emeralds, you have to go through the most obnoxious
DK
little
brought
weird
the cell
mode
with
of like
him.
turning it around.
Nah, it was easy.
DK's
He's just
got it on
bad.
his
Get
back,
good.
like-
Get good, scrub.
And he just throws
Why are
it
you
up.
talking about DK still? DK ain't here, homie. DK ain't here.
DK's on the Super Nintendo. He's there. He's there
Nah,
with Mario.
This mascot.
He's charging
like,
punch. He's fucking whining
He's
it
sitting
up.
there. He's
What?
like, "Oh, throw him this way, bitch." Like,
What's DK
Come
sound
on.
like again? What's DK sound like?
Like that.
Your native tongue right there.
ooh,
Wait, what the fuck are you trying to say?
Gut is there.
got him.
Oh,
Got him.
got him. Yo, I'm secretly Bonobo. You see me in Smite rank. You know I'm a fucking monkey. Come on.
Bonobo Battalion.
Hell yeah. I'm the guy Double J yells at in ranked, all right? Let's
More or
be
less.
real. Why are you ganking at level 3? I don't know.
This is fun.
Why not?
Who alts Fire Giant?
I was gonna say
Who
current Fire
fuck
Giant?
alts Fire Giant? Me.
Still
bitch.
the best thing ever. I still have that somewhere. Anyway, Mario.
We've thrown him for such a loop. He doesn't even know how to defend Sonic. Point to Mario.
No, I forgot where
Onwards.
we were. We're talking about Double J and Ultimate Fire Giant.
We're on SQA, SideQuest
Yeah.
Arcade, podcast by gamers.
We're on another side quest. Yeah.
Yeah.
No kidding. All right, well, let's listen. Sonic 3 music, Michael Jackson. I brought that up. That's it. Michael Jackson. You snowboarding in one level? That's fucking cool as shit. That's it.
All right. Lay out the Sonic theme song for me right now. Do it.
The Sonic theme song? Well, I'm not very. I mean, I would say Green Hill Zone, right?
Yeah, lay it out.
I can't sing it. I'm not a good singer.
Okay, lay out the Mario theme song for me.
I don't know it.
Do 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 do.
Never heard
All right.
that before. Never heard that before.
Way fucking more memorable.
I'm gonna need that
What?
bass. I'm gonna need that bass right there in the next Mario theme song.
Every time he fucking hits a block. Do.
Somebody mod that. Get the Flint mod going.
Yeah, hell yeah. Someone mod Mario.
Matt, where were you
I'll do
going?
the fucking
Where were you
soundboard.
going with asking us the question that you asked us?
Oh, that's for the very end.
Oh.
Like the well, we'll talk
Isn't
about
that
games.
where we're at? We're at the very end.
Wait. I mean,
Well, run it
is
along.
there anything else?
Put us back on
Okay.
course.
Okay. Well, you know what? Whatever. Everyone knows that Sonic ended up in Smash because Nintendo begged him to be there. So we'll just move on from there. That's my final point on that.
Yeah, Mario was already at the party.
No, it's
Hosting
fine.
the party.
No.
And he's
Yeah,
like,
and
"Look,
then he begged
no,
Sonic
you
to be
say
there.
he's
No.
begging him, but
Moving
that's
on.
kinda like the
We're
friend
moving
that's
past
like a
that.
loner, and you're just
We're
kinda
moving
like,
past
"Look,
that.
please
Listen.
come, be social."
When it comes to gameplay and when you're sitting down, you're playing some games, right? Let's talk some of the comparable games here. Now, I know Bryce said that this is one of his favorite games, but Super Nintendo Aladdin. This is Genesis Aladdin. This is. I know you're thinking, what the fuck are you bringing up? Both these games are like top 5 console sellers. That's why I'm bringing this up. And if you play them both side by side, most people say the Genesis version is better. That's it. That's all I gotta say.
The Nintendo version was OG though.
Yeah, but Genesis
they literally
version,
just
you
took all
got
of
a
the
sword.
successes of the
You got a
Nintendo
fucking
version.
sword.
You got a sword though.
You got a
It
sword.
was better. It's a better version.
The colors might have been worse, but you got a sword.
That's right. Who cares about fucking colors, man?
Colors. You got a sword. If
You
you
got a
just
sword, that's
fucking
it.
throwing apples at your enemies in Super Nintendo, fucking little kid console having apples.
All right. I'll give you some credit for a game that'll sell the console, but then it's kind of like I'm gonna throw shade at Nintendo. But it's kind of like Nintendo at what was it? Sega PS3. And the joke was, but it has no games. All right, Nintendo has such a larger roster that most people that would have bought Sega Genesis for these like console selling quality games were then just left solely disappointed as they were just buying more and more Nintendo games, going, man. Or seeing all the great Nintendo games like Final Fantasy VI and Donkey Kong and the rest of the Marios and the Mega Mans and the Rock and Roll Racing and the
I get what you're saying.
Castlevania 4, Contra 3, motherfucking F-Zero, Mario Kart.
So-
And they're like, oh, but man,
Listen,
that
hold
Aladdin
up,
really
hold up.
sold me on Sega.
Hold up here. Genesis had a Contra game. I forget what it's called, and it's just as good. It also had a Castlevania game, which you could play as 2 characters.
2 of them.
One with a spear. Couldn't do that in SNES.
One of them
Again,
had a
following the
spear.
same route. Let's just copy everything Nintendo is doing.
Well, those are all
call
third.
it
Those are all
original.
third party, to be fair,
I mean,
right?
that's like people that repost on Instagram without atting the creator. You're like, all right.
Well, they're both made by Konami. The creator just made both. Bad comparison. Fuck out of here.
Fuck out of
Castlevania Bloodlines was the shit. Is all I'm saying. That was a Genesis game.
But was it better than Super Castlevania 4? Absolutely not.
I've never even heard of that. What is that? Castlevania 4?
This completely superior game. Matt, I don't know.
No,
Money
I think it was
match me in Super Castlevania 4 at Worlds after you guys are
speed
done.
run. Is that a speed run or something?
No, like however far you can go on 3 lives or whatever the fuck it is.
Or yeah,
yeah.
I haven't played that game in so long.
After you
but
cover me
sounds
in
good.
fucking syrup, we'll we'll pull it out, all right?
Yeah.
Flint, I feel like you're gonna be hitting the gym extra hard just before.
I have, dude. I've been working out every day. I'm like, listen, because people hyped it up in
I gotta
Whammy
make
chat.
this-
They're like, yo, Flint's gonna be shirtless. I'm like, guys, you don't like. That's not.
You're
That's
like,
not a
fuck, I gotta
plug.
do some sit-ups.
Shit, I gotta fucking go for a run. Oh, I gotta eat healthy.
That's funny.
It sucks.
You're gonna be fucking just like cutting, like you're gonna be there, and be like, no beers till after the syrup. Can't take those carbs.
Nah, you should have a
take the
shot
syrup.
before.
I'm gonna have a shot before.
Listen.
6.
See, you
my
named
God.
off all these games, though. You named off all these games. Donkey Kong Country, Mario. I don't know. These are pretty kid games, I think, you know? Because if you look at just an
I named
example.
off Final Fantasy.
Okay, well, Phantasy Star. There you go. We have a great RPG, too. The point I'm saying is,
Compared
these
to
are all
Final
kid
Fantasy
games.
VI.
Kid games.
Matt,
Hold up.
NES
Hold up.
is-
I got
Super Nintendo exclusive. No, hold up. Godzilla, Monster War.
Don't bring that up. I knew you were going to fucking bring that up. Do not bring...
Exclusive to the Super Nintendo, Matt.
Wait, no, hold on. Which one is it? Which one is it?
Monster
Is it the,
War.
is it the
Monster War.
Japanese one? Because there's Super Godzilla, which is, like, not a good game, but if it's the fighting game, the tournament fighter, which is fucking unreal, that's a Japanese exclusive, unfortunately.
It is a
Yeah, but
2D fighter.
all right, even if it's not NA,
Yeah, I still fucking played it. It's like, don't get me
how
wrong.
about that?
Listen, you can hit me right in my childhood.
Godzilla only would go on the best console, obviously, right? Like, you wouldn't put Godzilla on a subpar console, would you?
He felt bad, and he felt like he had to bring him up.
I've never seen Godzilla feel bad. I've never seen him, like, nuke the fuck out of Tokyo and be like, gee, those people
if
there.
you've never seen Godzilla feel bad, you haven't watched enough of those. Like, there was a time there where Godzilla was definitely like just cheese fest, and he felt
we
bad.
don't talk
Go
about
through his emo
that
phase
time.
or what?
There's that, like, everyone has an emo
There's
phase,
that
okay?
60s, that 60s, 70s where he's like, "Oh, I don't want to hurt people." Like, you know what I mean? Like,
The guy who
Godzilla
wrote the
is
first-
just a big, slow dinosaur, just like the fucking Super Nintendo.
You're about
That's
to-
why he's on it.
I can see Matt, he's holding it in. He's like, I can't.
it's not personal, it's business. It's not personal, it's business. No. I'm saying, look. You naming all these like Donkey Kong, all this kid games. Like, if you look at Mortal Kombat on the Genesis, they didn't censor the blood.
Oh, but you
Or
can
the
put a code in.
fatalities.
You can put a code in to get rid of that.
Doesn't matter. Johnny
Yeah.
Cage's fatality isn't the same. He doesn't rip people off, rip people in half and shit. Here's another example. Terminator versus RoboCop. All the blood's gone in the SNES version. What's up with that? Isn't that the whole point? You want to play as the RoboCop? He blasts people in half. No
Nintendo,
blood.
that's a smart business decision, all right?
That's his kid. Oh, smart business
This-
decision.
smart
Genesis is
business
badass,
decision.
man. Okay,
I don't
yeah.
know
Well, have
about
fun
that.
with your little kitty. Have your fun with your little kitty console. Oh, little 8-year-old girls with our purple ass piss-colored
exclusive
console.
to the Super Nintendo, Brett Hall hockey. I'm sorry, but if you
Why-
are playing Brett Hall hockey, all right?
You hold up. No, I knew you were gonna bring this shit up. You want to talk about sports games, my guy?
I want
You
to talk
should
about
double
Brett Hall
check
hockey.
because the
I want to talk
the
about the
Genesis
best player
got
before
the
Wayne
sports
Gretzky
games.
got on the scene, all right?
best sports games, hands down. Genesis. Look it up. Every fucking sport: boxing, hockey, NFL.
I'm sorry, have you
Just
played Mario
fucking-
Tennis? Hello?
Mario Tennis on the SNES. Double
Yeah?
check your facts there, son.
I don't think Ken Griffey Jr. Baseball was on the Sega either, though, and that's his superior.
Thank you. Any sports game, the Genesis wins. That is like, hands down. A lot of people go, yeah, well, sports game, like whatever. But it's true. It's true, man. Hold on.
actually, that's one thing with the like
Was-
us nerdy side of the gaming.
Was
Don't
NBA
really give enough
Jam
credit for.
on Sega?
Yes, both.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I guess the sports.
I'm
fans,
just saying. I'm just
I'm
double
terrible
checking
for
here. I'm not
discounting
seeing
sports
Mario
gamers.
Tennis on SNES. I'm not seeing Mario Tennis on SNES, Flint.
That's because it came out on N64.
That's what I fucking thought.
Listen,
Get the making shit up out here. Trying to
You
turn
can't have
Godzilla
an
against me.
N64
Make
without
up.
a SNES, all right? I'm just
We're
saying.
not talking
you know?
about the N64. We're not talking about the N64.
We're talking about what the
Talking about-
N64 grandfather fucking shot its seed out after making an amazing console. Out comes the N64, which you guys fucking, you know.
Look, you're talking about all that,
We had
and we're
the
somehow
Dreamcast.
skipping
We
past
had the
Legend of
Dreamcast.
Zelda: A Link Between
Yo, okay, the
Worlds.
Dreamcast, yo, R.I.P.
Superior.
Like, actually, like, that console had so much shit going for it, except the company was bankrupt. But that's
Dude,
for another
you
time.
can't. Listen, you know why it's bankrupt? Because the fucking Sega CD and 32X. All right, both those.
We're not talking about the 32X. We're not talking about the
'cause
CD.
You put fucking little tumor adapters on your Sega Genesis. Like, oh, now there's 32-bit. Holy shit. Oh, now it's on a
Yeah,
CD.
exactly.
Oh,
The
yeah.
world wasn't ready. The world wasn't. Yo, it's called
I
being
don't
ahead
think
of your
Sega
time.
was ready. I
called
think
being
that was
ahead
the
of your time.
problem. think the developers
well,
weren't ready.
listen.
They were like, "What do you mean I gotta put it on a CD now? What the fuck is wrong with you guys?"
Some of Shakespeare's best plays came out after he died. That's just a known fact.
Oh yeah,
like,
what's your
people were
favorite
just
Sega
like-
CD game right now? Hit me with it.
Sega CD game?
Yeah, what's your favorite Sega CD game?
Night Trap. What up, bitch?
Oh yeah,
That's like the
I've
that's
never
like
even heard of
like behind
It's-
the mic. That's like
you-
the,
man,
that's like the only the only good game. Like actually like
yeah.
like
No, it is.
like
He's
actually
right.
like behind
He's
the
right.
mic. But like okay, back on set.
Oh, I'm
best
sorry.
game.
You like to watch weird like Sega CD graphic fucking sorority porn. All right, man. Okay, I see
Absolutely.
you. Okay, all
What you kink shaming me now?
right. Yeah.
I will not
Absolutely.
stand for this. I will not stand for this.
Absolutely. Yeah, I gotta kink shame you now before we go to Japan and see some weird shit. All right.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We're both gonna come back like we're both gonna be in Japan, being like, "This better not awaken anything in me."
Yeah, no, they're gonna be like, we're gonna come back, Bryce and Brian, be like, "How was Japan?" I'm like, "Oh no, it was good. Yeah, we're not gonna tell you anything about it.
Yeah,
It was
no.
great though. It was great.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
it's just totally fine.
Nothing happened. We didn't
Nope.
do anything. But don't look at my
I
browser
feel like
history.
if we were a big enough podcast, it'd be fanfic about what was happening in Japan.
Matt and I are getting married. That's already canon. We already said
Yeah,
that.
that's canon. That's canon to the podcast that we're getting married
We're getting married in Japan. Yeah.
at Mount Fuji.
Sorry, man. Common
Did
law.
you did you not get the
Yulia.
invite?
Sorry, Yulia. You can't do anything about it, man. It's the fucking lore.
Way it goes, man. So yeah, basically I was saying, Genesis is great, for the adults. SNES is fine, like I said, little girls, purple ass console. It's fine.
Star Fox.
I'm sorry, but we're like looking right past some of the other greatest games. Like fucking Kefka literally nuked the goddamn planet. You want to talk about your blood? He poisoned an entire river to kill off an entire city. I mean, all right, cool, it's gruesome, whatever. We got some fucking shitty ass 16-bit blood. Meanwhile, we've got some of the darkest fucking storylines you've ever seen in Final Fantasy VI, only on the Super Nintendo.
Phantasy Star had some good shit too for RPG. I'll be honest with you, I never played those ones. I only played the.
Neither did I.
Yeah,
but I
so-
doubt they were near as dark as Kefka.
Yo, I believe you. Like actually.
Yeah.
Listen.
Alrighty. Okay, what do you got, Flint? What do you got? We're talking about
I'm
games
saying,
here.
like, we talking about, like, replay. Like,
Let's-
I'll give
yeah,
you Sonic.
we were-
I'll give you Sonic, because Sonic is OG. I gotta give it
Oh,
to you.
yeah.
As much as I'm shitting on Super Nintendo. Sonic the OG. I'll give you that for replayability. But Super Nintendo has some of the fucking best. Super Street Fighter 2. Turbo. Oh, wait a second. Wait a second, Matt. Wait a second. That's the fucking most replayable game. Super Nintendo, my opinion. Then you got Castlevania. You got Contra. You got motherfucking... I think Ninja Gaiden had a Super Nintendo port. It was pretty sick. Super Mario World. Super Mario World 2. Yoshi's Island. All these games, you can just sit down and fucking play like it was nobody's business. What do you got on fucking Genesis? You got Sonic, the trilogy, and you got like Golden Axe, right? Like that's it. Realistically.
Hey, Golden Axe, don't talk shit about Golden Axe.
I'm
first
not.
of all.
I'm saying you want to replay it. It's a fucking good game. I'm not. I ain't hating that way.
Was
I'm
that-
just saying.
Yeah.
All right. Street Fighter.
Well,
ain't
we
on
got
Genesis.
Castlevania too. We have a Contra as
you
well.
have
We
Street
got those
Fighter?
games. Actually, yeah,
Fighter?
but
Yeah.
it's
But no one played it, right?
but that's not. Hey, we
Would
got
that- would-
our
would
Mortal
that be
Kombat had blood.
because- would
Mortal
that be
Kombat had
because-
blood.
Would that be perhaps because you had the ABXY to play on your Street Fighter with the proper combos instead of
Actually, it was the shoulders that did it because then you had 6 buttons
fair
to
enough.
work with.
Fair enough. Okay.
Which
Okay.
SNES
No,
or
no
Gen
shoulders
didn't.
on the SNES, so or on the
Or
Sega Genesis.
yeah.
Yeah. So I mean.
Okay, you're right. You're right. I know you're putting my tournament fighters, put me on blast with that shit.
Absolutely.
But we got hold
Right
on.
to that.
Yeah, the game.
Kid
the
Chameleon,
Game, I don't know.
Comic Zone, Flicky, Road
Fuck is
Rage,
Flicky?
Road
That
Rash.
sounds like a fucking game you play in first grade when you're trying to piss off your friends. I want to fucking play Flicky and just like hit him in the head.
That's exactly what it is.
Okay. Shit, I'm sorry.
No, I'm kidding. I don't know. You were like a
Remember,
bird. I
this
don't know.
is before my
I'm just
time,
trying to-
man. I'm sorry. You know,
Yeah.
I know
don't
Flappy
think
Bird.
they,
Comic Zones.
I don't
Listen,
think
Flappy Bird.
Turtles in Time or the Ninja Turtle Tournament Fighter game were on Sega. I know our
No.
Frozen Time was amazing.
They, Genesis had like it was the same, but it had a different name. But it wasn't. Again, Okay, Super Nintendo version is seen as better. But stop it, Bryce. Come on, man. Don't bring up that game.
Look, okay, I'll
Hell yeah,
give you that
Bryce.
one. I gotta give credit. Sonic and Knuckles with that second cartridge. Well, some people consider that like janky as fuck when you look back on it. When I found out that existed as a kid, that was one of the most mind-blowing experiences of my life.
Yeah, man. And
Where,
you
like,
play
you pulled
Knuckles.
out
You could
Sonic
play
and
as
Knuckles, you could play it.
Yeah.
You could flick it up, and you could pull up Sonic 1, 2, and 3 and click them in, and then play the whole fucking original game with Knuckles.
Yeah, that was
And
fucking
like,
dope.
That blew my fucking mind when I remember being like 9, and I met this kid I was hanging out with him, and like,
Forward
the neighbor.
thinking.
And then he was
Forward
like, I don't know. Well, it was like the closest thing to future DLC that we'll ever see now. Back then, and I just remember when he had that, and he pulled out Sonic and Knuckles, and he clicked it in, and clicked Sonic 3, and we were playing Sonic 3 with Knuckles, and I was like, wait a minute.
Sonic
and he's like,
2
yeah,
as
check
well.
this out. And then we owned Sonic 1 and 2. I didn't own Sonic 3.
Oh,
And then we
okay.
pulled out Sonic 2 and put it in, and I was like just mind like exploding into little itty bitty particles.
What
I'll
is
give-
the title? Is like
counteract.
Sonic 2 starring Knuckles or something like that? Is what?
Yeah,
comes
they
up?
like changed the logo. And
Yeah,
everything.
Knuckles shows up. It's pretty funny.
It completely changes the pace though, where Sonic's going real fast, and you're just like climbing up to the top, and then just gliding his Knuckles across the whole stage.
It's cool, man. It's hype. It's hype as hell.
I'm
You
gonna.
know, Knuckles was the coolest shit when you were 12.
Red Sonic, dude.
He was edgy as fuck. He had fucking spikes. It was great.
He threw hands, dude.
He threw
He'd
hands.
fight him, and he was like, "Let's throw hands."
Yo, I will say one negative for both consoles. Both of them had Shaq Fu. That's pretty. That's a hard thing to come back from.
That's a hard L, yeah.
That's a ooh. I don't know.
I feel like I'm fighting this by myself right now. What the fuck's going on up there in that corner of the room?
I got
There's-
nothing. I got
Second of all, where are your beers? All right. I hear a lot
Oh,
of
I gotta
silence
drive.
over there. I don't see a lot of beers. I'm not talking about. I'm talking about Bryce and Nate. They were like,
Oh,
we're
yeah.
gonna send it. We're gonna send it. You're not.
I emptied it out.
Fucking fill it back
gone.
up. I don't know what to tell you, Bryce.
Can't. We're recording. We're in the middle of this, so I can't get up.
Yeah, I'm recording too, Bryce.
He came prepared with his 6
not
different
even ready.
alcohols and his 200 controllers.
Fucking Flint's got a thermos over there next to him, just ready to go.
Yeah.
Pathetic.
All right. Well, doesn't
No,
seem
but-
like we're getting too much
Yeah.
further there.
Super Nintendo wins games, flawless victory.
I disagree, but
Sorry.
Look,
But
all right. Out of a
probably.
9-round boxing fight, somehow Nintendo wins 6 and Sega wins 3.
what? Get the fuck
KSI
outta
versus
here.
Logan Paul. Hello.
That was a draw. That was a fair draw.
Oh yeah, definitely not.
No one
rigged.
was upset.
Definitely
no one
not
was
rigged.
upset.
I wanted a refund. I watched that shit for free. What do you-
Yeah, dude.
Come on.
Fucking the guy with the steering wheel.
Watched the fucking pirated Twitch stream and that shit. I was like, come on, man. Like, you guys really gonna throw a draw
right.
out?
Do we want to go to like a final thoughts? Is there anything else that's worth bringing up?
Sonic a bitch.
All right.
That's all I got.
All right, let's come down to this. If you were to take the cumulative number of hours, including emulators, that you have spent on a Super Nintendo and an a Sega, what would be your ratio? Because mine would probably be about 20-1. And I own both consoles, and then I've never ever even had an inkling to download a Sega emulator. I have throughout my entire life. I've replayed, Super Mario RPG 2 or 3 times. I've replayed some of the Mega Man games. I've recently, replayed the Final Fantasies and the Breath of Fires. All replayed long after I got rid of the Super Nintendo. So easily 20-1 Super Nintendo to Sega.
I actually don't think I've ever emulated either because I have all my
Even
SNES
including
shit.
play, you've played with the actual console.
Oh,
Or
I never
the-
had a Genesis. I'm just
Wow.
I wasn't, I did the random thing, man. I got Genesis. What can I say?
I'm a Nintendo boy. Never played Genesis really, outside of like Sonic 1
I had both.
or the
So-
Sonic pack for GameCube, which,
Yo, okay.
that pack was hype though. That was like 6
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
Sonic games. That was pretty good.
But you, Bryce, you're the only one actually old enough to have played them in your childhood with me.
I never had a Sega.
All right.
You just had a Nintendo?
Yep, Super Nintendo. And it's
Nintendo
So-
did it for you.
always been one
Let's
of those.
I guess we should just bring it
Was I the
back.
only one that had both?
Yeah, like I said, my
Actually,
neighbor
okay,
had a
here's-
Genesis. My neighbor had a
The
Genesis.
Genesis, it was so undesirable compared to the Super Nintendo that like you'd go buy like equivalent to Kijiji. What was it like to buy and sell in the newspaper? My dad bought the Sega and like 7 games for like $30, and they were still asking like $60 for a secondhand Super Nintendo.
Right. Yeah. So, yeah, I guess we'll dial it back because I asked these guys what are their favorite game from both, and the reason why I asked that is because in all honesty, doesn't matter. Both consoles had great games. Depending, it's fun to like bullshit because the console wars. If you remember in the '90s, like if you can even like look up some of the trailers and the bullshit that happened between the consoles, it was fucking hilarious. Like Sega Genesis with the Nintendo, like Genesis does what Nintendo don't, and like all the commercials that they did. Because if you look at the stats of the console sales in everywhere but Japan, basically even. I think the Genesis would win in Europe, and then in North America, SNES was like very close. In Japan, it was fucking. They didn't fucking buy the Genesis like at all. Like, SNES, like Super Famicom, I guess, was just well oversold the Genesis. Like no one bought it. So it's interesting to talk about and interesting to look at what Genesis did right, what it did wrong. It was definitely a marketing powerhouse, and they pushed that really hard. There are some
marketed to boys way more than Nintendo did.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, dank ass console, man.
If anything, they've driven the narrative of guys are gamers and girls are not harder than Nintendo. Now, Nintendo was the ones that initially put the games in the boys aisle for the toy aisle before there was like an electronics section.
Yeah.
But Sega probably advertised to boys like significantly more. I mean, even to the point of like modeling their thing to look like racing gear.
Like cool, yeah. Basically the conclusion is like obviously Super Nintendo over time has won the console war. But I don't like to hate on the Genesis because I have a lot of fond memories of the Genesis, playing games on the Genesis. So I asked the guys to pick one game from both consoles that they both like, and let's just talk about it. Say like Flint, why don't you start?
Sure. So I think
Like kind of bring it back, like keep the heat down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's all in good
have
fun.
some wholesome nostalgia.
Yeah, that's all. That's
We'll bring
like
it
I
back
said.
from bleached assholes. So Genesis,
We're all gamers. Gamers rise
yeah,
up. We're all oppressed.
We're all gamers. I just saw a fucking post where someone was like, "Hey, don't use the word nerd because we got beat up in school for being called nerds, and you don't know our culture." Made me laugh. Anyway. I think for Genesis, I picked Sonic 1. I did have a buddy that had a Genesis, and I would go over and play that. And it just, like, Green Hill Zone is just so fun to play through. As much as I like Super Nintendo more, watching how Sonic moves and the way that game operates was just beautiful from a design standpoint. So I really do enjoy that. But I'm more of a Super Nintendo guy, and I would say that Contra 3 Alien Wars, if you haven't played it, I don't own a physical copy because it's like $95 to buy a new one. And that's just too much for the amount of time that I would play it. But it was the only Super Nintendo game, like other than the Super Mario games, that I can beat all the way through on 3 lives. No problem. Because it is just a fluid, smooth experience. The graphics are amazing for the time. And even now, like, I find a lot of companies can't do 16-bit graphics just the way that it was done back in the day. And
I know what you mean.
Contra and Castlevania are 2 games that really exemplify that for me, where they really took the full advantage of the console and the hardware they had. Konami knew it was up back in the 90s, and then they kind of died out.
Yeah.
I've played some bad fucking Konami games. I don't know if you played the Game Boy port of fucking Mortal Kombat.
Konami made that?
Yep, Konami made that. Ultimate Mortal Kombat or something like that for the Game Boy Advance. They randomized it because there's only 2 buttons on the Game Boy, right? But there's 4 buttons on a Super Nintendo. So they randomized what comes out between high and low kick and high and low punch. So your combos only work half the time. It's pretty rough. But when they were making Super Nintendo games, they were pretty hype. And Contra is one of those ones that I could just sit down and play all the time and really enjoy it. So someone asks me what my favorite Super Nintendo game is, that's the one I say. Yeah.
What do you got there, Bryce? Bryce and Nate? You guys got an answer?
Who you got?
We've been yelling a lot. They've been having a hard time getting in.
Yeah, what they should have is fucking beers in their hand. I don't know what you're talking about.
Please, can I just get a timeout on the beers? Just like a minute. That's all. Just, you know.
You've had
Super
like 30.
Nintendo-
Oh.
For Super Nintendo, it was Bomberman and NBA Jam. 'Cause
Hell
that was
yeah.
the first time that you could buy the control expander and have 4 players. And that's what we used to do on Friday nights. So that was my Super Nintendo game.
Turtles in Time. We already kind of talked about both of mine, but yeah, Turtles in Time was the shit.
I agree. I'd probably rented that from the store like 5 different times.
Yeah, the level where you threw fucking dudes at the screen, OP.
Yeah, we actually have to beat the boss by throwing
Yeah,
him
That was cool.
right before you get sent back in time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like we would sit there. It took us forever to learn how to like actually intentionally throw people. So we would always get there and then just like eventually lose. And it took us forever to figure it out.
Yeah.
But then that, back in the old school gaming before you would like search it up on the internet and you were just like, you realized that you could throw it and it actually did damage was like the greatest realization ever. Did you ever actually beat it, Bryce?
No, I could never beat Shredder at the end.
Okay, I've beaten it a few times.
Get dunked on, Bryce.
Yeah, dude, the train level,
What
OP as well.
Oh yeah, that was a good one.
As a classic.
I mostly
love the
played
one-
I mostly played the arcade version of Turtles in Time. So
Yeah, same.
4 people
same
was hype.
thing. Yeah.
yeah.
I remember the first time I got to the stage right before you get to Shredder, where you're like riding on the hoverboards and shooting forwards.
Yeah, yeah.
And just the way they handled it, and it gave this like 3D look to it. That was like, as a kid, I was like, this is the coolest thing ever.
Awesome, man.
Pick up the
Important
pizza.
question: which turtle did you play?
Leonardo.
I always played Donnie because of the stick.
Yo, Nate playing
Same with
Donnie.
Nate.
I saw that. I saw that hand up.
Yeah.
What about you, Flint? Or did you ever play it?
I played Turtles in Time. Yeah, I liked Michelangelo. Always liked Michelangelo.
I was always Mikey or Leo.
I remember like you and maybe
on
Zach.
the arcade version.
Bryce.
On the arcade version, you basically, if you're playing solo, you basically had to play Donnie because he had the longest range, and there were some bosses that you had to, because it's a quarter cruncher. So like, there's some bosses you'd get close to, they just hit you, and you'd be like, well, this fucking sucks. So with Donnie, you could do like poke run, poke run, poke run.
Learn how to kite back in the
Yeah,
Super
basically.
Nintendo days. I don't know.
Yeah, man, back on the sticks.
I remember like you and I think it was LHS, Bryce, were like talking about how it was a generational thing. Like certain people like certain turtles depending on when they were born. Can't
Right.
remember what you were saying. What was it? What was it like?
That must have been LHS.
I got shit on. I can't remember.
like-
I can't remember what it was.
I'd like to hear his
Or I
theory
was
there.
boneless and just don't remember the whole conversation.
Yeah, well, it was World, so probably that.
No, I think it was on Twitter. I'm pretty sure it was
Oh,
on Twitter.
okay.
I think I got dunked on online. It was
Check the receipts.
what was it? Was like if you like Michelangelo, you're born after like 95 or something like that.
That's
I
funny.
would say that as well.
Yeah, that's about accurate.
I like Michelangelo, and I'm 88.
Oh yeah, Brian. Join the team.
Get it hard.
Welcome to being born after 95. You've been drafted.
Rude, dude.
Uh,
What about Genesis there, Bryce?
Dude, Aladdin with his fucking sword.
Absolutely.
Superior.
That was a hype game.
Superior.
What about Nate? What Genesis?
The only one I can remember, only because it's in the news again, is Streets of Rage, because they're getting ready to
Oh, yeah.
launch 4 or remake or whatever the case.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, whatever that is. That game was hype. Streets of Rage. And Super Nintendo had Fist of Fury? No. Streets of Rage. There was another one where the Street Fighter characters were in it. Cody and Guy and Mike Hager. I don't remember.
I think
Doesn't
those are
matter.
Streets of
Doesn't
Rage
matter.
characters and not Street Fighter characters, like initially, aren't they?
Mike
Mike Hager
is
was
it
his-
Streets of Rage? Or is it, what's
Yeah, I
the
think
SNES
so.
version? Because Streets of Rage, was that Genesis, right?
Yeah.
I know Hagar was his own fucking. Yeah.
Yeah.
Final Fight.
Just-
Final
yeah, okay.
Fight.
Final Fight, that's what it is. Final Fight, yeah. Those are all those are, and Chun-Li's in the background of one of those games, too. Capcom
yeah.
being all like Marvel Cinematic Universe and shit. What about you, Brian? What do you got for your favorite one of each?
So this, like I named the two, and it was kind of a tough call to
Yep.
kind of say. And some of them actually do hold, as much as I'm typically not a nostalgic person, some nostalgic value. So my Super Nintendo answer was Rock and Roll Racing. That game, like when I look back at the time, and again another game that like blew my mind, because there was games that like you would look right past when they were on the shelf at the video game store when you were going for the rental. Don't touch the knife, cat. That's a bad idea. And
What are your cats doing?
he's reaching up and swatting at the knife I used to eat. I haven't taken my dishes up yet. And that was a game that like I must have looked past 100 times at the movie store, right? When we'd go for rentals, because like, you know, remember the age where you would just beg your parents to take you to fucking like Blockbuster to go rent movies and games. And I went to a friend's house and he had it, and the game blew my mind. Like, have you guys, do you know Rock and Roll Racing?
Yep, I've played it.
No.
Not like a lot, but I definitely
Oh,
tried
I
it.
played it a lot. It's another one of the games that I've ROM'd like countlessly. And so rather than being like Mario Kart where you're like behind the car, like it was a bit top down, and so you would drive around, but you would like lay landmines and you would shoot rockets and you could get like speed boosters. And then it was one of the first racing games I've ever played where you would upgrade your parts, like is very common nowadays, where you'd like earn money. So you'd go on these like Grand Prix, and it was like a more of a lengthy thing where you would do a certain number of races in an area before flying off to the next planet to do your next races. And you'd buy like upgraded chassis and upgraded rockets and upgraded engines, you know, to go faster and like actually get like tangible upgrades, better steering, better grip, and all that. Like, I think it was one of the first games I ever saw a racing game do that. And then its soundtrack was all like Super Nintendo-ized versions of like Black Sabbath songs and like other rock songs. So like, you know, me, the fledgling, you know, soon to be heavy metal fan at 10 years old, listening to, I'm trying to remember which song it was by Black Sabbath, but like one of Black Sabbath's most famous and popular songs, like their equivalent to AC/DC's Thunderstruck.
Iron Man.
Yeah, it was like there was like a 16-bit or whatever, like their Iron Man, and that would like play all the time, and you're just like jamming out to Super Nintendo quality Iron Man. But then probably actually best game I would say that came out of the Super Nintendo, which I didn't actually get to play in the Super Nintendo, but I had a friend who would always talk about how amazing this game was, and I never played it until it was released on PlayStation, which was Chrono Trigger.
Yeah, Chrono Trigger's pretty
Afterwards,
fucking real.
like looking back and then playing it later, it
See,
was probably the best Super Nintendo game ever made.
It's
in my
great,
opinion.
but I think the PlayStation version was better. So it had better.
Well, yeah, they added a bunch of upgrades and everything like
Yeah.
that. So I never played it till the PlayStation, and even then it was just boring from a friend. And then I replayed it on my phone.
Yeah.
And it's worth buying it on your phone.
It's on
still
Steam
an
too.
amazing game.
Like, it's great.
Oh yeah, Chrono Trigger's amazing.
Yeah.
Sega Genesis. So the game that I owned that I played the most of and was absolutely terrible was actually King of Fighters.
Really?
I had the classic King of Fighters for this Genesis, and it probably took me until I had about outgrown the Genesis to figure out that you could do like the down forward Hadouken to do like special moves. And so I would play it for hours and never be able to beat the arcade mode, just
Yeah.
doing punches and kicks
Yeah.
and like not a single special move. But I played a lot of it. And then Bubsy. If anybody remembers
Oh,
Bubsy.
fuck
the
yeah,
Bobcat.
Bubsy. Sorry, up there with Knack too.
I don't even know if that was a good game.
No.
My grandma had it, so I only got to
Bad
play it
game.
at my grandma's house, and it just seemed so cool. And then just like the fourth wall breaking, if you would leave Bubsy there, it's like the only thing I remember from Bubsy. If you would just like leave the controller idle and he was sitting there, he'd start to like tap his foot to the point that he would just like walk up to the screen and like tap on the screen, and they would screen shake as he's like tap tap tap, and he's like tapping his wrist like, come on, let's go.
That's pretty great.
That's the only thing I remember from Bubsy.
Well, right on. So for my Genesis game, I mean, there's a lot of games that I did play with a friend, but Golden Axe was definitely one. The whole trilogy. Loved Golden Axe. Recently in Kelowna, I beat the arcade version, which was like satisfying for me. It was like, now I've completed my Golden Axe like thing. But yeah, I always used to play as the dwarf, and he would always play as the shirtless dude. Turns out he's gay.
The shirtless dude is
I
gay?
know.
In
No,
the 90s,
no, my
though,
friend.
that'd have been...
And my friend is.
Oh.
Oh.
All
all
looking
right.
back, I was like, oh yeah, huh.
Makes sense.
Whatever.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair play. Fair
Oh,
play.
please, happy.
No. We're still like we're really good friends. That was the joke.
Your meme.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was a meme. But yeah, so Golden Axe was awesome. We and him used to try to beat that game. It was so hard. Like, you didn't have a lot of continues, and in the arcade version, you just put in another quarter, right? It's fine. So that was like, eventually as a kid, like playing through that whole game and beating it was really satisfying. So loved Golden Axe. And for Super Nintendo, obviously the Super Nintendo had a lot of awesome fighting games. The Godzilla game's great. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle game is great. Like the fighter one, not Turtles in Time. But my all-time favorite, like, Super Nintendo game is Earthbound. Which, like, Earthbound, the whole, like, journey from beginning to end is, like, surreal and weird and, like, ahead of its time 100%. People to this day are kind of playing it now and being like, oh, that's what Nintendo was doing. That's what, like, there's whole, like, it's got a real big cult following. There's tons of websites talking about it. It's, I'd say it's a must-play game for anyone who's, like, a gamer, quote-unquote. But, just, like, the references and the way the combat works. And at first, I didn't like it at first when I first played it. But, like, after, like, the first, like, hour or so, like, I really got into it. And I was like, holy fuck, this is a journey. I gotta fucking save the world, man. I'm just a kid. And I'm fucking struggling. And I got a bat. What the fuck is going on here, you know? Like, but... it's a real kind of cool experience, especially like as an adult now, because I played through it a couple months ago, just on the back burner, and like seeing how it really is like a Japanese perspective on American culture of the '90s. Yeah, dude. And it's like I once said that Metal Gear Solid was the first game that I was like, whoa, games are art. But I think surreally, like from a background, like from the back of my head, I think Earthbound actually predates that as like the first game that was like, whoa, games are like special and shit. You know, like my little 10-year-old mind.
They're not just blood and violence.
They're not.
One thing I do know from Earthbound, I never played it. I think I tried to pick it up on like an emulator one time, and it was like I think a little bit weird for me. And
It's
I didn't really
weird.
Understand it.
It's weird.
But then somebody pointed out that like there's this whole theme of like motherhood or something.
Yeah.
And then like the final boss, when you actually pull up.
Don't
the
spoil
map,
it. Don't spoil it.
Well,
It's too cool.
This is hard to see in
Earthbound
it. Apparently
spoilers.
It's shaped like a uterus.
Yes.
It's
There's
the
a baby
map is
head
shaped
as well.
like a uterus.
Yeah,
And
there's a-
there's like this whole like weird. I don't know much about it, but apparently like the symbolism with it, which was harder to catch in the Nintendo because you're only looking at like a chunk of it at a time. But when
Yeah.
you look at like the final outline of a map, like it's got this weird, like metaphoric, like artistic representation with like even its map shapes.
And when you're hitting it, it's like screaming that it's in pain and shit. It's fucked, dude. It's like that experience as a kid was like,
Punching people in the uterus?
Wasn't it like
what
really?
the fuck?
Wasn't it
you,
one? Of,
you didn't know what you were looking at. It's not.
yeah,
it's,
wasn't it one of the first games to actually get like a lot of cultural change when it came from Japan to here?
I actually
What
don't
I thought
know.
I heard, like the
I actually
English
don't
version
know.
I heard, there was a bunch of stuff that was like toned down from its weird.
I
One
actually
of the
think
first like
I don't know. It didn't sell
I
well.
might be
is the
wrong. I
thing.
might be wrong.
It didn't sell well at all. So I don't. It didn't get it. Like people just went, this game's weird, and then it didn't play it. Right. Blockbuster had like an over. This is like infamous. It had like an oversupply of them, and it was actually selling the game for like $5. Because like they weren't renting, they were just like fucking get rid of them. Now a Super Nintendo cartridge costs like $200. Like, because it's just like,
Cult classic.
yeah, it's this huge cult. Like, wow, super, you know, you can get the game on like the Switch and stuff for like $10, or it's on the, I think it's on the Super Nintendo Classic thing that they put out. Which, if just Earthbound's great. That's my pick. So
I think that's everybody's.
with all that being said, you know, I mean, again, it was a fun discussion, I thought. It was pretty fun. Why don't we go to the community section? I think for the
yeah.
community challenge, it would just be appropriate to say, do you guys have a favorite Super Nintendo and Genesis game, or one of those games that clicks
Yeah, let's
with
have
you?
a nostalgic episode next week.
Yeah,
Yeah. Hell
Let's
yeah.
just say like the most nostalgic game you've got.
yeah.
Sure.
Maybe it's a
Did we
different
do that
console.
already?
What's that?
I feel like
whatever,
we might have
okay.
done that in VD too, but it's been a cool minute. So
I'm trying to think what Peacock's Peak came from. Was that like actually that's the greatest nostalgic?
oh god, I can't even scroll
Okay.
back in the community challenge for that. I think it's been deleted.
Yeah.
But
You know what? Fuck it. We'll do it again if we have.
Do it again. We got some new listeners. We got some new regulars in the community challenge and Discord chat. So let's fucking send
Absolutely.
So just like, what game brings you the most nostalgic joy?
Hell yeah.
Or do you have an opinion on this Genesis Super Nintendo? Maybe you could just type it in there too.
Just type Sonic a bitch in community challenge. We'll read it out.
Nah, hell no.
I got last
You're
week's
too
community
slow.
challenge queued up.
Bottleneck. Hashtag bottleneck.
Hashtag bottleneck.
Go for it, Flint.
All right,
Bottleneck.
so last week,
Bitch ass CPU.
community challenge I posted was what game, movie, book, experience, really, could be anything, would you like to erase from your memory to re-experience it for the first time? And what brought it up was my dad was watching an anime, Gurren Lagann, that it's one of those ones that the first viewing is always the most enjoyable. So it was very much something I was wondering, well, what do the whammies think? What was something that they would like to bring back? I'm going to start with Twitter because we only got one Twitter @, and then I'll move into Discord. So
We'll forget it otherwise.
yeah.
So it's a good call.
Juan Felipe Mendez at JuanFem says, I wish I could read the Game of Thrones books for a first time again. I've never felt such a thrill. Fortunately, the story is not over yet, and a couple books are on the way, but those first ones, guys, 10 out of 10 would recommend. Great podcast, Flint. Winky face. So, Game of Thrones. I can respect that. I haven't finished them yet, so we'll see. And we'll move on to Discord. You fella says,
So there was a very important death in the first books and the first season, for those who haven't watched it.
mm-hmm,
That I'm sure we all know. Sean Bean
Bean.
blew my fucking mind. Like, I literally, like, read it, and I went, wait a minute. Flick the pages back, read it again. No, that can't be real. Flick it back, read it again, and I'm like, did they just kill him? And I'm like sitting there and I'm all like shocked. And there was this customer that used to come in because I was working at a golf course that was super fucking boring, and there was only a customer that ever came every half an hour.
Can relate. Oh,
so it was the kind of job where you would like show up with a laptop and DVDs, and your boss would be like, "You're not gonna get bored. You're not gonna quit on us. This is good." Like, you were praised for bringing things to do. And this customer would see me reading the Game of Thrones, and he would come golfing like every day. And he's like, "Oh, I love those," and he would tell me about all these like paintings he did, and this was like before the TV show was big too. And then I'm like sitting there, and I'm just like stunned, and he looks, and he can literally see the look on my face, and he's like, "Oh, I'll just fucking spoil it. Did Ned just die?" And I'm like, "Yeah," but like he was not even worried about spoiling, because apparently the look on my face and how far I was in the book, he knew what happened, because he could see like where I was kind of in the page, and he's just like, "Yeah. That was amazing, wasn't it? Or crazy?" And I'm just like, did this just fucking happen? We ended up delaying his tea time start by like 20 minutes. But anyway, I can relate.
Respectable.
Not like there was another fucking customer that came for an hour at that place, but.
Word. You fella says, on Discord, I have nothing. Experience porn for the first time again? I don't know, man.
Hell yeah.
I mean, would I have to just forget all sexual actions of the last?
No, I just saw porn. Like, you gotta go back to when you were like, I don't know what the acceptable age is.
Insert age here.
Insert age here when you found porn.
Yeah.
Dirtnap's dad coming in says, this one's easy for me. It would have to be EverQuest. You see, back in the day before MMOs, my wife was playing Might and Magic games, but had beaten them all. For Christmas one year, I stopped at the GameStop and told the guy what she had been playing, and he recommended EverQuest. I bought the game, and a friend bought the first expansion for it. It actually took several months before we could play because we needed an upgrade on our internet first. Then we first started playing. I was like a kid in a candy store because it was like D&D but online. Soon, we roped in other friends into playing our little dirt nap, and our little dirt naps Dan even taught himself how to read so he could play. Overall in my life, some of my fondest memories come from that time, and to be able to go through that again would be awesome. That was wholesome as fuck, Dirt Nap's dad. That was fucking wholesome. I will say that much. Zelatos, Josh coming in, says, I love bad movies, man after my own heart. So it would be the original Mortal Kombat. That movie is a terrible piece of shit, But my dad and I saw that in theaters like 7 times. So yeah, I would love to re-experience that again for the first time. For anime, it would be Psycho Pass. For books, it would absolutely be the Dark Tower series. Yo, my man, if you guys haven't read the Dark Tower series, get on that shit.
Stephen King, right?
Yeah, Stephen King. Don't watch the movie. It's ass. It's ass cheeks.
I heard.
It's really bad. But read the books because they're really good. And gaming, I would say Chrono Trigger. How about that? Read Dark Tower. Psycho Pass is sick too. If you guys haven't watched that, that's good. That's one of those animes that like you can't binge watch it. It's one of those ones you gotta watch a couple episodes and go, fuck, that's depressing, and you gotta switch to like just a lighthearted anime. Bryce is a big weeb now, so he understands.
No, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, I've seen your Kakashi shirt. Don't fucking lie. I've seen it.
Shirt is fire.
That's a fire shirt.
I mean, that Kakashi shirt is fire.
I'm real. I'm a little jealous, and I have I got a weeb shirt that almost rivals that, and I'm still jealous of your fucking Kakashi shirt.
I do not have any weeb shirts.
My buddy, because we used to play.
I bought a few and then I got fat.
Oh shit. My buddy and I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh all the time. He bought a fucking shirt. It's like one of those dry fit ones, and it's covered in Yu-Gi-Oh cards. And every time I wear it, all my friends are like, "You're such a fucking loser. I hate you so much."
That's pretty dope.
I'm like, yo, I got fucking Dark Magician and Blue Eyes White Dragon right on my chest. You can give me
You're
shit.
sitting there being like, obliterate.
Or send you to the fucking Shadow Realm. I wore that shit to the gym when I used to go to the gym. Because I didn't want to talk to girls. I just wanted to work out. No one approaches you when you're wearing a fucking Yu-Gi-Oh shirt.
Understandable.
Mr. Hefe says, I would like to go back and experience the true masterpiece of both written word and cinematography. If I could revisit the true wonder I had for The Lord of the Rings, I would do so in a heartbeat. I think it is the most influential thing on my life, and in that it sparked my love for fantasy so much that I just got addicted. After reading the books and watching the first movie, I was hooked. I've never read I've read near half of Raymond E. Feist's novel series in the Rift War cycle about 5 weeks while on holiday. Lord of the Rings started so much, it made me seriously want to play World of Warcraft. It made me read a whole bunch of books. It made me fall in love with painting figurines. Like, damn, it was big. And to be fair, with the list of Oscars it's won, I can safely assume a lot of people share my opinion, and that particular trilogy was worth every minute of its extended edition over 12 hours of runtime. Ride for Ruin and the World's Ending. Death! And then that last part's all in capitals. So, just you aren't reading along in the community challenge when you're listening to the episode. So. I played a drinking game with Lord of the Rings. I feel like I've told this story on the podcast once or twice. But we tried every time we had like a Lord of the Rings drinking game, we tried to get through all 3 movies. I think we got like halfway through the second and I was passed out. Like blackout drunk.
What was the game?
It was just like one of those lists. It was like every time Gandalf does whatever, he'd take a shot, and it was like every time Frodo puts the ring on, he'd take like 3. But all we had was straight vodka, because we were definitely overaged and stupid.
Here's a one rule deadly game: take a shot every time that movie says the word ring.
You're not getting past the first 2 minutes of the fucking movie, Brian. Like we're trying to, move it out.
Trying to make it through.
Yeah.
All right.
Every time Sam goes, Mr. Frodo. Mr. Frodo.
Mr. Frodo, I love you. Hey, Bryce and Nate. Hit me with your experience or your book or your movie, whatever that you'd like to release.
So, especially since we'd be experiencing it like with how old we are now, I would want to go back and like rewatch all of Attitude Era wrestling.
Yo.
Shit.
Like now. Because like totally like first to see if it lived up to like what's in all of our minds about Attitude Era wrestling. Like does it live up to that? Plus like you're going to understand it more than when you're a little kid.
That's actually a really good one.
Dude.
Brian, what do you think about that?
Sounds great.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter what you think.
I've never watched any Attitude Era wrestling, so I'll let you know.
It's an experience.
That'd be one to do. That'd be one
to do.
to watch.
Fucking
Never
jabroni.
been a wrestling guy. Call me a jabroni, bro. Get the fuck. I'm gonna come down to Dallas
Jabroni.
and fucking watch all of it. All right.
Oh, got him.
I got him. fucking baited. What about you, Nate?
Dude,
what do you got?
when Stone Cold saved the WWE, man. When he saved it, that was great. When he comes down to the ring, Austin's talking. He's talking. I love it.
Back when it was the WWF.
Oh yeah, I guess so. Fuck.
Oh, wow.
Go ahead, Nate.
I guess I'd go series of books, and it would be Harry Potter for me. I remember when the
That'd be a
first
good
one
one.
came out, we had. Do you guys have Best Buys? Did you have Best Buys? Certain
Yep.
cities, something
Yep.
like that.
They're
We
fairly
do.
new here.
Yeah, but we had the same story. We actually talked about this last episode, or not Flint, but like when we were all there. We had Future Shop,
Roasted.
Okay.
and Future Shop it's all the same shit, and it's owned by Best Buy, and now we have Best Buy.
So, but
So-
Yeah, it was basically they didn't want to put their Best Buy brand in Canada, so I think they bought the Future Shop brand, and then it's just basically red Best Buy.
Yeah, it's the
And
same,
then they started,
exact same.
Then they started putting Best Buys in it. Then they were competing with each other, and they got into this situation where like neither of them were making a profit. But if all the sales just went to one store, they'd be profitable. So they just closed down the Future Shop brand, renamed some of them Best Buy, which literally was just like change the banners and the logos, and the store operated the exact same.
Yeah, it was the
like
same.
Nothing changed. Sell
Anyway.
the same fucking stock and
What's,
everything.
what would okay?
Anyway.
Back to Harry Potter.
Yes, we have Best Buy.
Oh yeah. So, anyways, for me, Harry Potter started at a Best Buy. That's where I actually bought a book, hard paperback book, at an electronics store. So that's just like always something that's stuck in my mind to like experience that first realization once you finish it of like how popular it's gonna be.
Yeah, HP was huge, man. I guess it still is.
Was
Yeah. Well, it's definitely.
Did you
Not
ever
as
go
far-
to
it's-
any
it-
of
it
like
hits-
the releases, Nate? Like, did you ever fucking?
Yeah, I went to. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah,
Midnight releases for
I went
books?
to a couple of the midnight launch parties at our Barnes and Noble just to get it. You know, I mean, I think
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
17 or 18 when like the third one came out. So
It was always wild to me, man. Like, I think I remember the 7th book one.
Yeah.
Like, the fucking line was just like a kilometer long. People going at.
I went to the 6th and the 7th one for midnight release. It was hype.
That book was like that book series was an international phenomenon. That was wild. Couldn't imagine.
Yeah.
Could not imagine. I don't think there's anything been like that since. Maybe Game of Thrones.
Fun
but
fact.
My only complaint is
Yeah.
the people that look at J.K. Rowling and be like, look, she became a billionaire at 32, so obviously the rest of us have a chance. And you're like,
No, you gotta write. You gotta write
Steve
Harry
Jobs
Potter.
dropped out of university and he became a billionaire, so obviously I'm making the right. No. Like, look, the 1 in a billion people does not represent what you should do with your life.
Fun fact.
That's my only complaint with Harry Potter.
Harry Potter taught my girlfriend English.
Hell yeah!
Yep.
Awesome story. I love it.
'Cause She
Dude, can I do a second community challenge? Because this has always fascinated me.
Sure.
And I don't know how many people could do this.
Yeah.
But I've met a few people where they're like, I learned this second language through X.
Yeah.
Did you learn a second language? And what was the thing that helped you learn it? I only know one language, but I met a guy who learned English through Justice League.
Damn.
Like the TV
And like
show.
that was like he moved to Canada. This was one of the coolest guys I ever met, and he was actually pretty young. His name was Mash. He was from the fuck was he from? I can't remember. Mongolia, I think, or what nation took over, or is there still a country called Mongolia?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mongolia still exists. Yes, it is a country on the map.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
yeah. I was just thinking of like the old Mongolian empires or whatever.
Between
but yeah.
Russia
So
and
he's
China.
from Mongolia. Yeah. So he's from Mongolia. He then, because he's from there, he speaks Mongolian, and then he speaks Russian because it's so close to Russia.
Yeah.
Then he moved to Japan and did like one of those international whatever where you like international students where they would like trade.
Yeah.
So he traded and then went to Japan, so then he could speak Japanese. And then he did that from like 13 to 17, and then he did another one where he went to Canada. And so the guy was like 18 and spoke 4 languages, and then he went to university and he stayed in Canada, and he's still been in Canada. It's his favorite place he's been out of like the 4 countries he's lived. So I
Understandable.
think he lived in Russia for a while too. But I was like, Did you find it hard to learn languages? He's like, no, I just watched a ton of Justice League with subtitles, and like that did it for him.
Some people have that with languages, though,
How
right?
do you do that? So, like, if you speak another language, like, share it with me and tell me what did you use to learn it? Because I always find it fascinating.
I'll tell if I'll use Yulia's story. I'll get all the correct details and I'll use that next week. How about that?
Sounds great.
I know she learned it from reading Harry Potter, and the one thing I do remember is that the character Hermione. She was like, "What the fuck is that?" Right? Like she was like, "I don't."
I always pronounce it Hermione.
Yeah,
When
yeah.
I was a kid.
No one said it correctly
Hermio.
until the movie came out, right? But she would look at it. She was like, "I don't know what the fuck that is. What is that?" And she would like try to find it. And there's like, she couldn't find it anywhere. Like computers weren't as common back then, right? So it's like, in Russia anyway. So it's like, the fuck, right? Like, what is this? Anyway, what else we got, Flint? Are we doing other ones or?
Yeah, oh hell yeah, we're doing other ones. Okay, Legic says definitely would like to forget the last Airbender movie. I love Avatar: The Last Airbender and Legend of Korra. So anytime I watch that shit show of a movie, I die a little inside. So not particularly what we're going with the community challenge, but I would expect it because that movie was an absolute abomination.
Here's what I want to do. All right, not to shit on Legic, but to shit on Legic. Let him forget The Last Airbender, but then like make a pact with all of his friends to claim that it was like the greatest movie ever.
Oh God.
And then let him go watch it. And like, cause he's forgotten it, he'll be all like pumped and ready. Like, this is a great movie of it. Why do they not make more? I can't wait to go watch it. And then just like watch
Brian
it.
Satan confirmed, man. That's fucking that hurts. That's the kind of movie you watch once and just hate yourself afterward. That's like I would not wish that
that
on my
originally
worst
stemmed from
enemy.
the thought that if you've forgotten everything about it, would you forget that it's bad and then make the mistake of accidentally rewatching
Yeah, I guess,
it?
yeah.
Or would you wipe the memory with a post-it note? Never rewatch this. But then how bad would the temptation be to know, like, what was so bad about it I had to forget? Like, could you fight that temptation?
Damn. Ridiculous. All right. Croshen. If I could relive the experience of BioShock, one good ending, I would.
Good one.
That ending is
Good
the
one.
only thing that has gotten me emotional in a video game. I'm adopted. So seeing all the little sisters get adopted by Jack and then raised to lead healthy lives and give him the same love that he gave them in saving them just broke me down to tears because I had such a strong parallel to it in my life. Damn,
That's deep,
that's
dude.
very. We got some deep replies this week. Fucking.
I mean, you know, that goes with that video game is art thing, and like
Yeah.
like some people, you know, that aren't gamers look so down on it, but they don't realize like the connection you can make to it and what it can mean to
Some
people.
games, man, like the narratives are ridiculous in the way that they can pull on your heartstrings. Like fucking Spec Ops: The Line. If you guys ever played that,
I've heard about it.
fuck. I needed a minute. I was playing the story mode. I needed a minute. I paused the game. I just like walked away. I was like, I need some time to figure out what the fuck I just did. I'm not gonna spoil it. Boingo, back from the grave. He's back.
Like he missed his Thor ult, shot off the map, went around, and has come back.
Come back. Fucking Boingo. Missing Thoralt says, I literally just played this game all the way through a couple weeks ago, but my answer has to be Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice. If you guys haven't played this game, you 100% need to. The story is absolutely fantastic. Combat was simple yet super satisfying, and the puzzles in the game were definitely difficult. It's about a Celtic warrior girl who has psychosis, which means she hears voices in her head, and travels into the Norse land trying to find her lost lover. You're battling demons, gods, and yourself whilst hearing the voices in her head throughout the entire game. You need to play it with a good set of headphones because the 360-degree hearing really affects it. This is the best gaming experience of my life. I've never played it. I've heard about it, but I'm definitely intrigued, so I will check it out. Better 2 Corpse, when he's not posting pictures of beers and burgers every Thursday, comes in on the community challenge and says, if I could wipe anything from my memory and relive it, I'd forget reading Sphere by Michael Crichton. His best novel, in my opinion. He's the guy who wrote Jurassic Park and had a hand in directing the movie. I highly recommend reading the book and burning the motherfucking movie because it's shit. Damn. Strong words. How about you, Matt? How about you? What's your... I'm gonna back out for a sec, but you tell us about the thing, and I'll be right back.
Sounds good.
Do
If I could relive one game, I thought about this. If I could relive one game and go from start to finish again, I'm kind of tied between two, and they're not the same game, but Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. I played those games so much as a kid that I kind of have like 99% of it memorized. There might be like a couple things that I forget. I'll be like, oh, where did I get that heart piece, or where do I do that? But for the most part, I have those games on lock, right? I just used to play them a lot. If I could go, like, either one of them, it wouldn't matter if I could go back and do the whole thing, try to figure out all the puzzles. I'm wondering if it would live up to the, greatest game ever made title that both those games kind of get, for one, but also just the enjoyment factor. I think I would still enjoy the game, even if it wasn't as, like, oh, this is amazing, right? Because I always wondered, like, how did I figure this out as a kid? Like, there's some shit in there where it's like, how did I figure that out? I just know how to do it. I know, I don't know.
Back before the days of guides, too.
Yeah, I mean, the internet was around. Like, you probably could find a guide, but it just didn't. You just didn't do that back in the. You know what I mean? It wasn't. I don't know. If there was a movie that I could go back and watch for the first time, I guess I would pick Fight Club. That was a pretty big, like.
That's a cultural touchstone.
Yeah, that for me, that was like, I don't know. I was 18, 19. Growing up on the streets, like I was talking to you guys from the hood. Watching that movie, and I was like, yeah, man, like that was a big, like,
fuck the government.
I know, like, that was, yeah, dude, I was like, whoa, that was definitely my angsty age from like 20 to 21, like, because of Fight Club. I was, like,
you ready to throw hands,
fucking commercialism and all that shit, and the self-destruction is, purity, and all. I was like, oh fuck, like, but to relive that movie again, I think that would be a kind of a cool experience. So I would go with those two, like the Ocarina of Time and Fight Club would be my two picks.
Never played Ocarina of Time. Probably should.
Would recommend. Actually, it'd be interesting to see your perspective, because it does have this, like, as I was saying, it kind of has that greatest game ever made title, but like a lot of people said hasn't aged that well. Like, a lot of people are like, it's, so I'd be, and I was just saying,
it changed a lot of things though.
Yeah,
like, it was
for the time,
groundbreaking
yeah.
for its time. I watched a YouTube video that looked at it and said, look, like, it was doing a review of what it was then and what it is now and how it's held up.
Yeah.
And it says it doesn't hold up, but it was one of the most groundbreaking games, like revolutionary games to this day.
Yeah.
But its gameplay greatly was just like dodge to the side and hit.
Yeah.
It was actually just really like a rougher version of Dark Souls.
So they're like, it's like the Beatles of fucking video games.
You could say that. The Beatles is still really good to listen to, though.
I'm not a big fan of the Beatles. I gotta be real with you.
Fair enough.
They never clicked for me either. But
I
I think it was
guess.
a bit of a generational
This
thing.
cat is destroying my hand right now with all its fucking claws. All right.
Do you not clip your cat's claws? We clip them regularly.
No,
like,
they get
like every week.
No, we let them run. We just teach them not.
Flint's a
to
farm cat, right? It's probably a farm.
They're all
cat
they're all
too,
inside cats, but they just like we don't.
Oh,
Ow,
never
you
mind.
fucking bastard! Stop it, dude.
Right? Read the thing.
Yeah, see, we clip our cat's claws so my cat can go nuts and it'll never break the skin and never hurt.
Oh,
We can,
you
wrestle really
son
hard.
of a bitch!
Read the thing. Stop
I'm a
stalling.
Batista. This cat is chewing my elbow off. All right.
Let's go. Come on.
Nevaeh.
Do your job.
Sorry. All right, I'll let him fucking savage me. All right, it says, my kiss-ass answer, this is Nevaeh, by the way, if you didn't get it. Nevaeh. My kiss-ass answer would be Dying Light, because I'm ecstatic that Bryce and Flint are trying it, and I remember how awesome it was. I'd like to play it again, but I know what happens. So, ... My non-kiss-ass answer would have to be Life is Strange 1 and or the prequel. Story-driven games that make you feel something always get me, but also because it was like choose your own adventure, wherein you had the impact on the character's story that made it that much more emotional for me. Bryce, are you playing Dying Light?
I haven't played it much recently, no.
Well, let's fucking do the co-op story mode then, because I'm playing by myself right now. It's amazing, but like,
All right.
fucking send it.
That'd be
all
a
right?
good one. Yo, you guys should stream that. I'd watch that.
Hell yeah, brother. Let's do it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, never played Life is Strange. All I've saw is the punk duck. Life is cringe. So I don't know if it's a good game or not. I'm not like 100%, but sounds like it'd be alright.
I watched the Let's Play all the way through it.
Who?
It's not bad.
Who play it?
Good shit.
I watched, I think, Markiplier's.
Oh, okay.
Never mind. I'm not making fun of him. Kyle, because I can't say your name, your tagged correctly. Says, can I have more than one answer? Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, One Piece, Final Fantasy VII, and Halo. So much more. He's got like fucking 6 there. I'm not gonna. Fair enough. Halo, I could see. I'd like to play Halo for the first time again. That was a really fun time. Like when the Flood showed up for the first time and Halo Combat Evolved.
Oh yeah.
That was a moment where you're like, "What the fuck is this?" And I was
Just
terrified.
imagine experiencing the LAN culture that Halo created, right? That'd be
Yeah.
pretty cool to re-experience that.
Yeah. Yeah. Going through that again. That would be sick. Panda Fight looks like a new whammy. I think I've seen the name before, but like, you know, doesn't come across as many times. How's it going, man? Glad to have you. Says Fallout New Vegas, specifically the Old World Blues DLC. Such a good combination of action and humor. Yo. Fallout New Vegas, best Fallout game. Throwing it out
Yep.
there. It was
I would agree to that.
amazing for story, for gameplay mechanics. Old World Blues, I think if it's the one I'm thinking of with the robots, that shit was amazing. Fucking scene where the robot's like, he's got 10 penises and he's looking at his penises at me. That shit was good.
I don't remember that, and I guess I didn't get the.
Yeah, I
DLC.
guess you didn't get the DLC, dude. But yeah, I thought your fingers were dicks. You had 10 dicks.
That's pretty funny.
Johnny 10 dicks. All right. Canadian Ice, our resident 12-year-old, says The Walking Dead season 1 probably. God, I miss Lee. Okay.
Spoilers.
Spoilers. Thanks for spoiling it, Aiden. 12. I'm gonna react to a 12 with that right now. While we're here. Willow, the noob idiot feeder, says I would love to go back and re-experience the Mass Effect trilogy without the hype for 1 or 2, as well as the hate for 3's endings. It was a great series that was just enjoyable to play through, and if you haven't, I suggest that you take the time to do so and just enjoy it. Don't get caught up in the stupidness of the talks about it. Good shit. Good shit. I got a few here, but Brian, if you want to go ahead and give us your...
Sure, yeah. So, feeding a little bit off of something Bryce had said, this was something that currently crossed my mind. I've often said I'm not a hugely nostalgic person. I don't keep my physical copies. I'm not a collector. You know, I have a couple of things that hold off good nostalgia, but I did a whole community challenge when I went and replayed a nostalgic game and said I shouldn't have, because often they don't hold up for me. So there's a lot of things that it's like, what things do I have great fond memories of would I actually want to forget and retry, because I feel like I wouldn't form the same memories of. Chrono Trigger, while it was a great game, and I think even replaying it, I can still enjoy it. It still holds up.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I'd like get as in depth into it. I mean, the dialogue is still like old Super Nintendo JRPGs are. The dialogue's still a little bit shallow. So the two games that probably for me probably Final Fantasy X. That one really just like, you know, everything about it, and like the reveal at the end with like who Yu Yevon was, and like when you find out that, you know, Sin's your father, and you're like, oh my god. That or Persona 5. But if I could forget like everything about Persona 3 and just be like blown away about like everything that Persona 5 was, I would, because I mean ultimately right now that would hold up, because it's, you know, it only came out like last year. And then the actual sappy answer, and this is of course with the caveat that I could do it again, with my wedding day. That was actually like so much fun. The planning beforehand I'd never want to repeat, but like if I could just go back and redo that day, I'd redo it anytime.
Hell yeah. Yo, Kimi's gonna listen to this episode and be like, ooh.
No, I've told her that
Wholesome.
before.
Wholesome.
I told her that the night of. I'm like, I'm tired. The planning sucked, but this was the greatest day ever.
Fuck yeah, dude. Love it. Breeze IF says, SOCOM. Man after Bryce's heart says...
Hell yeah.
I'll never forget being ages 11 to 14 and just knowing that I'd found the one game that single-handedly satisfied all my needs for a game. Spent hours on each of the titles, and I would do it all again in a heartbeat. Never played SOCOM, but Bryce is Mr. SOCOM man over here. He's right into that
SOCOM
shit.
2 online. Hell yeah.
10 out of 10. Love it.
11 out of 10.
11 out of 10. Holy fuck.
11 out
Breaking
of
the
10.
scale. Breaking the scale. The One Nation. How's it going, man? Comes in and says Chrono Trigger. Nothing else, just Chrono Trigger. Play that shit if you haven't, I guess.
Understandable.
And a few words.
Man, a few words. Just throwing it out there.
I mean, I already mentioned Chrono Trigger is a possible for mine too.
Yeah.
So
Good game from what I understand. Fro Double G coming in hot says Attack on Titan. My friend told me Aaron was a Titan before I even watched it. Kind of lost the suspense before I even got it.
Yeah, that would suck.
Dude, I know that feeling because I knew that before I tried watching it, and then I was like, yeah, but like, when's he gonna transform?
I just found out. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, no problem, Bryce.
there
no
you
problem.
go.
That's
Probably not worth
that's
watching.
that's
then.
the danger of being on a podcast is you're gonna get shit spoiled for you. Unfortunately, my friend when I was watching in high school was like, yeah, Aaron is no longer in the anime. Mikasa is the protagonist now, and he was trolling me because he knew I couldn't watch it till like I went home from school. And I was like,
Nice.
I was so mad. You got me good. Ebo, if you're listening, you got me good, dude. Fuck you. Kurt Dude says, Walking Dead, the Telltale series. I fucking shed a tear during the end of season 1. Full ugly cried at the Kenny and Clementine ending, even though I didn't get it. I still need to catch up and eventually finish that series. I feel like
100% same.
Dude, Telltale Games has not, like, are they still making games? Because I remember there was like a big,
Yeah.
like, Telltale is the fucking future. And they made like a Game of Thrones game, a Batman game, a fucking Walking Dead game, Wolf Among Us, and I just haven't. They made Back to the Future too. I didn't ever saw that one.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's right. I guess they've been a while. It's been a while since I've seen any more of them.
I feel like they were like touted as like the next set of story driven games, and then I haven't seen anything in the last couple of years, but I haven't really been paying attention, I guess. Ragnafidity says Spider-Man Homecoming. The movie. It was Spider-Man, no bullshit, just Spider-Man. Perfect.
Cool.
I feel that.
That was
that was a really good movie. I really like the car scene where he figures out who Michael Keaton is, and they're sitting there
That's so
awkwardly,
good.
and like Michael Keaton figures it out too, and he's just looking at Peter like, I know,
Oh my God,
I
yeah, that
know
was so
who you
good.
are. That was so fucking tense.
Michael Keaton is such a good actor.
He's such a good actor, dude.
Yeah.
Last one, and then I'll do mine. Danny Boy says, for me, the game and experience that sticks to my mind the most is Halo 2. I was so young, didn't even own an Xbox, but the reason I cherish this game is because it was the first game I was able to play with my little cousins. It was so much fun staying at night while sleeping over and just playing the story and forcing ourselves to go to a higher difficulty every time we would beat the game. Even running around using RPGs to kill each other in multiplayer was awesome. With time and growing up, we drifted apart. One is in the army, stationed in Dubai, and the other's in military school. It was just good times and nostalgic experiences. Halo 2. OP. See, Halo, man. Halo was like the fucking GOAT. People don't like Halo 4 and 5 kind of suck a little bit, unfortunately, but like Halo 2, Halo 3 was like, Halo Combat
I don't see why Microsoft just doesn't make a good Halo game. Like, honestly.
Because 343 makes them now, and they don't know how to make a fucking Halo game, apparently. I don't know.
But it's just like, I don't know, man. It's frustrating because, like, I bet you if they made, like, a good Halo game, I bet it would sell, honestly.
They just have
Like,
to look at
fuck.
Halo 3 and go, okay, just that, but better. They could just do it.
But even, like, they were like, oh, we're going to re-release the Halo Master Chief Collection.
Yeah, and that
and
sucked
it just
wieners.
didn't- I was just saying, and it sucked dick, and it didn't even work. Like, it was like, the game would crash constantly. Online was a joke. Like, it was just like, how do you fuck this up? You have one of the most popular IPs of the early 2000s, and you still can't do shit with it.
Yeah, it's
You know what
sad
I mean?
to see.
Or mid 2000s, not early.
Yeah. No, it's rough.
Yeah.
Fuck. I wish they'd make some good Halo games, man. I'd play those any day of the week.
Anyway, what do you got, Flint?
Mine, I mentioned it earlier, but it's gonna be Spec Ops: The Line. It was one of those games where like I got it for like $5 on Steam, and everyone was saying the story is amazing. You have to play the story mode; it's so good. And I don't want to spoil it, or
I know what it
yeah,
is. but
I'll
yeah,
put a spoiler warning in. So like Bryce, plug your ears if you're gonna fucking play Spec Ops: The Line, so I don't spoil two things for you today. Basically, you end up in Dubai and you're fucking going through, and you end up using white phosphorus on civilians. You fucking burn the shit out of them, commit a war crime, basically. And the way it's presented and the way it's done, you very much as the player make the decision to bomb those people and murder them. And emotionally, that shock of like you're no longer the good guy, I had to take a minute. I had to pause the game. I had to get out of my chair and just walk upstairs and like think about it. It fucking blew me away. And if I could experience that without surprise again, I absolutely would. Because it is one of those games that it just throws you for a loop. That you just don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And then just watching the main character degrade after that point, like that was very much the turning point for the character that you're playing. And watching that was just like, holy shit. This game is serious, and it was one of the best story modes I've ever played in my time. So I'd love to experience that again. I think that's it. That's all. Done.
All right.
I think that wraps up the episode. We've already issued the new community challenge. We've gone through this week's.
Hope you guys had fun listening to it.
Nate talked about as much as Flint's first time.
Hell yeah.
That's okay.
Actually, I think you beat him.
You
I think
probably
said
did
about
beat me
4
because
times as
I
much
think
as he
I
did.
said about 3 words the first time.
Yeah, man.
Can we go back? That's what I want to do. I want to erase that and have Flint be that person.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want me
Less-
to talk anymore?
less Flint.
All right.
Yep.
Understandable.
Flint, back to newbie Flint, uncomfortable on the mic, first time on a show.
Dude,
The good old days.
Logitech headset Flint. You want to go back and watch that? Oh, that was bad. I can't even listen to that shit. I don't know how
I
you
miss
guys did
those
it.
days.
Here's the fucking.
We didn't.
Yeah. No, fair play. Fair play. I wouldn't have.
Thank you so much for listening. All of our links in the description below. Make sure you check out our Discord. It's always popping. We got good memes. We got communities. We got people hitting me up. Somebody hit me up about Monster Hunter. I got to respond to them. I was away for that. So you can follow me on Twitter at MadmanMattYT. You can follow Flint at MicroManatee. You can follow Brian at SQA_happiness. Make sure you put that underscore there. He's very particular. And of course, Bryce at _silent reveries, because you got to be very particular about his underscore as well. I don't know if Nate has Twitter, but we'll put it in the description as well.
He does. He ats us all the time.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I forgot. I don't check that often.
Usually with Canadian memes.
That's true. Respectable. So we'll put that in the description below as well. Thank you so much for watching. Again, like, comment, subscribe. Check out our SoundCloud. All that shit. Love you guys. I'm good. My throat hurts a lot. I'm good.
Good yard.
Have a good one.
Good
Bye
yard.
bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hit us with the goodbye, Nate. Do it.
Dip.
Bye now.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.